Into IG, a super team that is ramping up. Didn't deliver a title, but might still deliver IG. Their first world since 2019, and rookies as well. Will they make it? I daren't say it. Daren't say it, lest we curse them. Onto the Rift to see the reality of things.
As ever, an absolutely rammed arena. Got two very popular teams in here with some incredibly popular players. Jackie Love on one side, like the entirety of IG on the other. It's not like Kanavi and 369 are shy their own mega fans. Lollipoppy potentially starting Raptors, but Rookie hiding out here.
Yeah, wants to just protect their being a ward if they can. Sees both of them around the corner. And yeah, Kanavi and Cream realize if they put down a ward, it'll get instantly cleared, so they can't put one down there. The two auto attackers would have been enough to kill it. And yeah, folks, one of my greatest esports memories was regional qualifiers with EDG versus, at that point it would have been Weibo, because at that point it was Uzi versus the Shy for one last spot at Worlds. Jackie Love and the Shy in this game are the most popular LPL players of all time. The Shy and Jackie Love are just always so well regarded by the Chinese community in terms of fandom. The Jackie Love international performances sometimes give him a bit of stick from them, but they still love him all the same. These two are going to be fighting off for the crowd's approval and the spot at Worlds as well.
Nice attempt there from Mako to interrupt Jackie before he could complete the auto that would have denied him a melee minion. It didn't quite work out, but I appreciate the effort. Oh, baby. For all Jackie Love has a significant number of fans, Invictus Gaming, well, their fans are legion this year.
Well, the rumor was once Invictus Gaming were eliminated from playoffs, people started selling their playoffs tickets for finals. Because they were like, God, I want to see IG here. You know, the classic, you know, I'm here to support my team kind of situation. I'm going to be very political about that. Or diplomatic, that's the one. Yeah, that's the word. Didn't want to use the other word. Pushing in this bot side, the Nico and the Kaiser, as we said, very lane... Well, the Nico helps you be lane dominant, and the Alistar... When IG locked in the Alistar, they knew they weren't going to get early lane push, and they were fine with that. The Alistar will bring more value in team fights perhaps later.
That it might. That's the plan anyway, because again, the front line from IG is not bad, actually, despite what you're looking at, because of course the Alistar is always great front line when you get the opportunity, and you've also got Way on the pop, who can be pretty good as well. Matter of getting to that point without having things like that double range bot lane getting too far ahead, because if you can get to mid-game, can get to one item, I think IG will be happy enough. It's just, if there has been a flaw for IG, it's been that sometimes in the early games they can get a bit caught out, they can give up more gold than they should.
Way, in particular, after their elimination, said, yeah, it was a massive jungler. Way was pretty hands up saying, look, I got out jungled. IG got a little bit blasted in their last few games of playoffs. Of course, had to go up against anyone's legend eventually, which was less than healthy for them. Way fighting over this top scuttle. Shy has push, as does Rookie, so Kanavi needs to get out of here.
So he does. Will be Way who get to hold of that. And again, IG drafting for a little bit more lane priority top side, I think is probably wise to at least have somewhere for Way to play around. And if you can get a Rumble out to a lead in this game, Rumble, Rise, Zayat, a lot of AoE to work with, but you've got to get there. And I still fear for things like this Pantheon and Kaiser Nico early causing some issues.
And particularly against top East, was just going back to the top lane part of that conversation we were having, in terms of top lane push. 369 has been given a ton of resources this playoffs. Against Flandre, he was given winning lanes every single time. Top Esports have had series where they're like, look, yep, we want 369 to be a pressure point. His Gnar was fantastic versus anyone's legend to knock them out and make them end their series and their playoffs.
And so gold lead in that game as well for the team for the largest time, if I recall. It was 1,000 gold up doing the Lord's work to hold them in base.
He entered that game for like a 5,000 gold lead.
Oh my days.
Of course, he couldn't make that happen in finals in the same way. The Shy would really like to see himself on the better end of this equation to one of those players who can pretty much win any lane you give to him. 369 is now going to be aware that the Shy was kind of all baiting him into a bit of a 1v1 there, because Gala has found the lane swap timing. There's Jackie Love trying to hold that freeze there. Oh, nice interrupt there for Cream. Or onto Cream is the better way of phrasing it. Side of Mako. Will be flies there to pick up that one and force a slightly delayed reset, because again, there's no teleport for Cream, so he might be forced to stick in lane here. He's gone for the reset and he'll just go back anyway. The wave's frozen against him. He doesn't want to lose his flash of free with Navi and Hung kind of tied to their jungle path or their lane. It's okay if you've got jungle support there with you, but you don't necessarily want to just leave yourself the free pickings. We have got the lane swap through. Of course, Gala was the one to initiate that. Lane swaps have been a big part of the meta heading up towards Worlds. I think that the best teams in each region have a very good 3 to 5 minute lane swap to get the most of their farm onto their carries, both bot lane and sometimes top lane as well, depending on what you draft there.
Much like things like the Gwen, Rumble's had a bit of a weird win rate for certain players in the LPL. It's had a very high ban table percentage, because of course been very, very strong, but partly because there are certain players you just don't want to give it up to. The Shy being one of them. He's 6-1 this split on it, has put up some obscene damage numbers, but you're right, Kanavi has made his way through mid lane, even with the slightly faster base moves, but he can't quite catch up to Rookie there. Will just force a slightly awkward step away from the wave and nothing more.
Good, so both mid laners had a quandary thrown to them. Both of them found their answer. Navi heading towards the dragon on the bot side, Hung starting it up. Grub's, of course, not available just yet. Mako will be able to spot. My dude, probably don't want to be going into 1v2 versus them. We'll get out safely. Does lose a bit of HP. There has teleport in his spellbook as well, so he's felt free to phase check. He can always reset, come back in quickly. If IG do want to contest around it, likely though, with teleport on the Shy, they might wait until the next ult cooldown and then say we'll go towards the Grubs instead.
IG find Gala and 369. Gonna end up finding Mako, who does not have that one. Well, there's not a lot happening really in this early game. I'm kind of just saying words that are vaguely League of Legends themes.
That's when we start talking about, I don't know, Star Wars or ice cream or something.
Well, that's true. What's your favourite ice cream flavour?
I am a big fan of coffee ice cream.
I actually didn't know that. Huh.
I like coffee ice cream, but if you're talking about like gelato, anything citrus.
That's
anything citrus.
So you differentiate between ice cream and gelato.
Kind
as well.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, a little bit. Not necessarily. Like I realistically should have just said, I don't know, like grapefruit or whatever. By the way, there's this one ice cream place near the Trevi Fountain in Rome. Oh. Just around the corner.
I've actually saved it on Google Maps so I can find it if I ever go back.
If we ever go, well, if you throw a coin into the Trevi Fountain, so the legend goes, you will return one day.
So the legend goes.
So the legend goes. The Shy did use his teleport to go down bot side. He won't be using that to hold it over 369 for a Grubs contest. If he wants to go towards Grubs, he'll have to wander his own way up there. Looks like we're going to get a contest around this, I presume so. Dragon wasn't taken, worth noting. It was, of course, looked at briefly earlier. This could be our first important real objective set with the game. Pantheon going mid.
Looking at Rookie, there'll be a flash available. Gets on top of him, Shockwave after Rookie gets to do nothing.
Instant pop onto Rookie. Didn't want to flash out. He gets punished for it. IG, they will not be able to contest those Grubs as easily now. Of course, it's so early into the game, Rookie can die and teleport back in, but it is a slower teleport because it's before 10 minutes.
Navi blue flash and ult for this. Jackie got donated the kill just walking through mid lane. Here's the TP back. He's held on for flash for this. They want this play now. Rumble in the mid lane, shoving that one out. 2 of the Grubs already taken by the side of Top Esports, and the last one will go the way of IG.
Sorry, you sounded really spooked at something.
I did. So what happened is the smite came through from Wei as the second Grub marker saying it went to Top Esports. Went the way of Kanavi.
So you thought it was stolen somehow.
I thought it was stolen. I was like, hang on, how? And that was not true.
What I've found with Grubs is that just don't look at the kill feed for them.
Yeah.
Because they will just inevitably they will gas lamp.
Yeah, so I got gas lamped, precisely. And as we all know, gas lamping is the correct term. No one's ever heard anything else.
Yeah, gas lamping is the correct term. Dragon's going to go over to IG. As it's going to be 2 Grubs to Top Esports, as we highlighted before, 1 Dragon to IG, so a split of the early objectives, but an early lead to Top Esports. And IG, their early games have been a worry. It might be a dive here. Do IG have a good response? Mako does not have ult.
2,000 gold to work with. They'll jump onto Mako, who does heal. Pulverize. Headbutt was available, so managed to knock away Kanavi. Wei now wandering up. Again, I'm just looking at solid gold leads in a lot of places right now for Top Esports, being up 1,500 odd gold. Could get a bit dicey. We expected a little bit of an early lead with the drafts and stuff, but from this point, if Top Esports, as we know they are wont to do, continue the snowball, I think it's going to get tricky.
Yeah, this is the limit to the gold lead you really want to see as an IG fan versus top esports. A little bit is fine. Anything more than that, you have Pantheon Kaiser flying at you from any given
hidden
moment.
as a bush.
Nico hidden as God knows what. And IG have to play very reactively and defensively before that. Seeing a couple of questions in chat. Does the loser versus go versus T1 at Worlds? They'll have to play another series. The loser of this will be able to play for the 4th place slot, but they will play the winner of JDG versus Top Esports. The winner here avoids the 4th place match, goes into Worlds proper, avoids the play-in. But yes, the loser, if they were to make it through to Worlds, would have to face up against the back-to-back world champions.
That's kind of
By the
way,
it is a hard ass maker. Still doesn't have ults and has to flash the shockwave because of it.
And again, the only reason T1 are in 4th is after an incredibly tight series versus Gen G, where both T1 and Gen G end up somewhat inexplicably falling down to the lower bracket, partly because the other LCK teams are in fact very good, guys. But you don't want to just dismiss T1 as, oh, they're just 4th seed. They were looking scary in that best of 5. They had it in them to take Gen G down. It might have been Gen G there in another world.
Yeah, so that is the stakes for this. You win, and you get a much easier time with it.
Yeah.
Difference between 2nd and 3rd seed, not huge. Difference between 3rd and 4th seed, yeah, okay, all right. You might end up just playing, 3, goes worst case scenario. You might just end up playing 3 games and you're out.
Yeah, and I want to put this stat out there for LPL fans to horrify over. Something like in the last 5 years or whatever, LPL has like a 14% win rate against Faker.
Yeah.
It's pretty mental. Like, this guy has just been the LPL killer.
Pretty much all of the games which have LPL's done well has been Knight versus Faker, because MSI 23 and 24 are actually very good, but then of course you look at Worlds and you think,
yeah,
slightly worse. Of course the 5-game finals for LPL, BLG last year, up the stats a little bit, but the series win rate at Worlds is not fantastic for the LPL. And I have to say, when it comes to LPL versus the likes of LCK at Worlds, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack there. Personally, I think that LPL has some ground to make up when it comes to jungle support rotations and the way that they play slow and methodically around objectives. Now, I actually think the 2 teams you're watching right now, IG and Top Esports, they're the teams which are better at moving around objectives, but the problem with the jungle support shenanigans is that the early game, as we've seen from the likes of IG at points, can sometimes be a bit rocky. So when you go against a team which is so well honed, of course, is in the way that most LCK teams are actually when they approach early games, you do get a little bit worried. So from myself as an LPL veteran now at this point watching these, I do think the LPL has some ground to make up. I don't think they're out of reach, but there will have to be a marked step up, really, to see whether, of course, with one of these teams does go through as that 4th seed, fighting for 3rd seed here today, whether they can compete against the very best of the best.
Dragon spawning in about a minute. Maybe that'll have to be our contest. Not sure whether it'll be the best of the best there at the moment, but certainly contenders for at least a 3rd spot, which is pretty good. It's like nearly the best of the best.
Hey, I'm just saying that we've had 4th seeds win Worlds.
That's very
quite
true.
Alarming amount of times.
T1,
yeah. well, DRX is the big one. Look, I love me some T1, but if you're going to talk 4th seeds, come on, we got.
I mean, the last dance, you're correct. I mean, that whole run was incredible, wasn't it?
I do think, for all the legend of T1 and Faker has been so fantastic to watch over time. The DRX run is the most crazy esports run I've seen within the
It was pretty extraordinary. Like, I'm not sure whether there is a sequence of best of 5s quite as exciting as DRX's run through quarter semis-finals. Like, there's the C9 Gauntlet run regionally in 2015. I really enjoyed. That was pretty good, where they where Piglet died to the double teleport to finally get C9 through in a best of 5 that wasn't a 5-game series.
No one mentioned that to Oil Dominant.
There's individual best of 5s like G2 versus RNG. You've got the JDG versus T1 series in 23 Worlds that was kind of crazy. You can kind of go through individual series, but some of those best of 5 runs are pretty ridiculous. But here comes that dragon. And musing about historical moments, may have to wait for the moment.
Actually want to contest this. They're walking around here as though they do. Here comes the fight.
Oh, yes, they do. Shockwave onto the Shide. He is so dead. Top Esports looking calm and collected as they pick up a fight, and the dragon after.
Top Esports get the quick pick. It uses a couple of ultimates, but they've been the ones pulling the trigger. And IG, we were saying, while their early game can be a bit lax, their late game objective played better. But the early game, Top Esports have gotten the slight edge on them, and it's leading to a 3,000 gold lead-ish.
Now the early objectives as well, they're feeling fantastic. And it's Jackie Love who's been donated the early kills as well on the Kaiser, who's just cashed in a cull. He's 1,400 gold ahead.
It's just such a powerful game for him. There aren't that many things which can stop him from having a fun time. As long as he doesn't ult into a Poppy W. See Elk versus HLE Game 4 semi-finals.
Yeah.
Well, he did end up 1v3. Well, not 1v3. Knight ended up 1v3ing it for him, and he ended up picking up a triple kill. We'll phrase that the correct way. But he does have a lot of power to kill anyone who has been engaged onto you by top esports. With that point and click of the Pantheon especially. Top esports grouping up around the map well. Herald started now. Can we get a proper fight here from IG? Haven't really been able to mount a defense so far.
Getting caught out briefly by Hung and by Kanavi. Does a lot of damage. Mako was on a potential flank angle there.
He is still. He's not been seen. Herald's going to go down.
Herald's taken. Cooper's verdict knocks Kanavi away. Now Cream might end up in a spot of bother. Trade out well here. Let's get a decent shield, but the Shy away from the command attack. Got the Leandries down at this point as the Shy, so it definitely stings a little more than he once did. Nice from IG to pick up something there. The only thing is Gala 2/3 HP. Be a bit careful under this turret. Just managed to get a decent route onto Jackie. He's going to have to give up a fair amount of these minions, and possibly the whole turret, in fact, with all of those grubs behind them. It's done.
2 grubs help them take it. Plasma there onto Gala too. A little bit of a worry as IG starting to, again, just get a little bit beyond the Gold League, which they're comfortable with. Top esports, they've been quite good at just using their pressure points, finding quick plays, and rolling into lanes or objectives after it. Top esports only need the one more killer objective to get the full feats of strength. And IG, they are just kind of waiting, really, to see if they can start controlling the map in a bit more of a safe way. 369 going on to Rookie, pulls him into the river.
Does, but of course, Mako was around ground. Starfall, Jackie, Killer Instinct. Great angle. The exhaust comes through, but too little, too late. And now Mako will die at the hands of his former duo.
That's the global combo. The point and click coming through with the follow-up of the Kaiser. Bat out of hell. Jackie Love comes Rookie into Meatloaf.
Does. Well, we'll see whether 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The Shy is here, and maybe there is that third available. They've stuck around. The Shy does not have an equalizer, immediately has to flash.
Yeah, and now he doesn't have a flash either. He has his first item. He's gone for the cooldown boots, interestingly. Actually, you don't see that as much on the Rumble, especially without the Conqueror build. Cream on the other side getting completely free time with this turret. Top esports diving bot side, controlling top side, getting the best of both side lanes. We'll go back to this play again as 369 tries to pull into River, doesn't quite get the angle, but doesn't really need it really. The Plasma's already onto him, we get the Pantheon through as well. Rookie goes down, the exhaust a little bit late, but realistically, I think it saved him anyway. He would have likely died to a follow-up flash auto from Jackie Love. Clean 2 kills.
So imagine that is now a Rage Blade on Jackie, who is 100% of the kills for Top Esports. 100% of the assists on Kanavi as well, and for all that things like Pantheon have been nerfed, Kanavi has been playing it so well, and you can see why they're still picking it.
And Jackie Love, this may well be his last LPL series ever.
Oh my days.
Of course, folks. Jackie Love has been talking a lot about his health issues through this year. Now starting this game at 4-0, 100% of the kills for Top Esports as you are talking about.
Fired.
I don't know why that was the word to put in there. But yeah, Jackie Love, legendary player, a player who has inspired so many. I remember watching his Worlds run all those years ago alongside this Invictus Gaming roster. He has been such a fun player to watch. You may be watching his last dance here within the LPL. Of course, he'll be at the World Championship. Likely, of course, hasn't qualified there just yet. What a career he's had.
Take 2 to tango, though, and I have no doubt that IG in this series, perhaps not in this game, will have a few more things to say. But speaking of, Jackie Love now potentially in danger, does have the flash, will burn it, trying to get the Rune Prison, gets it, TP behind, Kanavi jumping with a shield bot, Mako will headbutt that away. Someone's got the ability to turn on the ult as Hung goes looking for the Pop Blossom, just landed onto Mako. The Featherstorm comes flying on forward, Grand Starfall onto Gala, who's burned his ult, will cleanse by some time. But my days, Kanavi so damn tanky and just gets rid of the bot lane with the assistance of his top laner. Way now flashing, but Top Esports continue as a juggernaut to allow Jackie Love to get another kill.
Jackie Love flies in. And Top Esports once again pulled the trigger better. The Shy doesn't teleport in, and IG are down a member for the fight. They don't get that equalizer, and now the Shy has to equalize defensively and dies anyway.
Oh dear. Well, they went looking for Jackie Love, and Top Esports were just significantly faster on the collapse, and now 8-0 in kills, 7,500 gold ahead. Jackie Love 5-0. It ain't getting any easier.
IG are yet to get a kill in this first game. Yet to get a kill. They realm warp aggressively into mid lane, but Jackal flashes early to make sure that IG overextend, and they have the follow-up. They use the teleport into the mid lane, and you notice that the Shy doesn't enter his way into the fight. He's trying to stop the Orianna coming into the play. I suppose, I undervalued that, but really having the equalizer could have been quite important. But with both the mid lane and the top laner out, you can see that Kanavi can just go forwards as much as he wants, and Jackal he still has his ult at the end of this play, so he can fly forwards as fast as he wants.
Nice little pick off at the end there, and I think IG thought they had a much better time of picking off Jackie than they did, and that teleport behind them really hurt. Atakan now a possibility for top esports, but we've seen teams throw from there before. See whether top esports can hold their nerve and not mess that one up.
I think with a 7 going on 8,000 gold lead, I think it's kind of guaranteed that Atakan will be going towards them, but then again, Atakan is where games go to die. If there is any way that IG were to make their way back into this somehow, it would be around an objective throw. Atakan could be it. Could potentially be a Baron after. Top esports will have to see how good their objective gameplay is today. We've talked big about it earlier, but on the day, it might be a little different. Top esports taking the Dragon on the bot side right now, not bothering the Atakan, and they can fly up to the top side, of course, with the Kai'Sa ultimate. 369 doesn't have himself teleport though. IG could have potentially started there. Instead, look, Cassante will be slow to this play, choosing not to. Herald into top lane to take a chunk out of that.
Can't get the turret or the bounty associated with it quite yet. Well, he did just aggro Atakan, trying to force some rotations here from top esports. The Shy still has TP, he's catching the wave in mid. Atakan's just been started.
I don't like them tanking this at all. There are so many ways for top esports to force onto it. Knavi could just pull the ultimate, open up another angle of attack. The Shy is teleporting in. IG want this. They are flipping.
Well, he's got to keep his verdict. Tries to knock away one. That helps. Hung with the rocket bell. Pop blossom though. Gala feather storming. They do kill off the Nico. Kanavi trying to get on top of that as Poppy secures the Atakan. Gala alive. Root prison on Kanavi. And actually they get away with one kill and the Atakan.
So it's an objective bounty for IG, and they get the kill. That's not bad, all things said and done. The gold lead, what was it? About 7,000 going on 8,000. Dropped about 6,000 from that. So they've cut about 2,000 odd off that lead. And they get themselves a bit of XP to work with too. Not bad from IG, but that has to be the start of quite a large mountain to climb here, actually. Top esports still very much in control of this game. At least they didn't, throw a full ace over to the side of IG. We have seen worse Atakans from leading teams.
Cream now going to find Mako with the command attack and dissonance. He's gone for the double burn build and does get a shockwave into the ult from Jackulov, and the cow is down.
Mako doesn't flash the shockwave, doesn't have the ultimate. Jackulov picks up yet another kill. Cream holding that shockwave for a little while. So the Blackfire Torch and Leandries did a bit more work. Gets himself another kill. Mako, of course, was on top esports last year. Went to MSI with them, went to Worlds with them. Now left to go to IG. Perhaps a bit of a divorce match here between the two teams. IG currently on the worst end of that settlement right now. Waves pushing in towards both mid and bot lane. Top esports full control of the map.
Yeah, the Shy very quiet on this Rumble, really, in the grand scheme of things. Not something we ever really say about him on this champion. Let's clear out the wave with the equalizer, but I've seen a lot more wave clear ults than I've seen team fight ones, and that is always a bad sign with Rumbles.
Yeah, that's very true. The Shy struggle to make a real impact in things, and while I do wonder what could happen with Gala at 3, maybe 4 items, probably do need 4 items now, actually thinking about it, because there's a lot of tanks you need. The Lord Dominic's regards for, that's what I said, a lot of tanks. There's a Cassante and the Pantheon sometimes. You need the Infinity Edge and the Lord Doms. I just don't know whether you can survive through to 4 items.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure with this kind of lead. Dragon's not up for a little while. Baron will be up in a minute. It's not like there's an early sold point for top esports threatening the 4th Dragon and that crazy buff which comes with it. So IG, can they stall for a little longer? They've not been great at stopping top esports making plays so far.
Also, with things like the Atakan now being down, it stops top esports finding more fuel for the fire. And now getting towards tier 2 is a little bit hard. You have got a Rumble, a Rise, and a Xayah, 3 of the better wave clear champions in their own regards. So getting a hold of these tier 2s won't be easy, which is probably going to force top esports into Baron. And then you're looking at Baron versus an Equalizer versus Featherstorm versus Keeper's Verdict. Always the easiest to just rush.
No, you're absolutely right. There is a bit of a saving grace in the fact that they have a Cassante who can tank the Baron for you.
True.
So you are not getting shredded as hard as another team composition without a tank might have been in that situation. Dragon in a minute and a half. I would imagine IG want to give that one up. and buy a little bit more scaling time if they can. Now, there's a bit of an argument as to which team actually does outscale. Because one team does have the Cassante as the best frontliner. You still have a Kai'Sa who is very good with this kind of a lead, and Orianna outranges. On the other side, though, as you pointed out, even in draft, Sam, IG has a lot of split damage sources. You have a lot of people that can carry from each lane. If all of them come online, they will have the damage to win a team fight. Can they make it to that point now is the question. IG, yet again, being in a situation where they have to claw their way back because their early game has left a lot to be desired.
Been the best laning time around, and again, Wei didn't really manage to find much on the Poppy in the way that Kanavi really did actually on that Pantheon. Setting up a lot of early kills for JackeyLove made the game just a little easier for top esports to make it out their game plan.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got Kanavi in the game, you know
Well,
Kanavi's going to do something. He's about to do something. Kanavi farming his way through the enemy jungle now, making sure that he's hanging around Scream's lane. He's likely going to get this full turret, actually. The Shy not wanting to drop the Equalizer this time, realizes, look, the tower's going to die anyway. I want the Equalizer for the next fight. Could happen at any moment. Tower goes down, more gold towards Cream, and more control on the map for top esports.
I'd like to put in a formal complaint to Cream. I just had a whole rant about how getting the tier 2s was going to be tricky, and he just walks up the turret and claims it, and I now look silly, and that is not acceptable. Actually, Cream,
I'm not gonna lie, Sam,
dare you?
I heard you talking about wave clear. It's, you know, like the blah 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 place names, blah 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 names, things, stuff like that.
So you ignored me, didn't you?
No, I just glossed over a lot of the details, because otherwise I would have said. Dragon does go for stoppies, was no surprise there. Hang on, Hung caught out, teleport coming into mid lane, as is Kanavi's ult.
That's the grand start for the back end of it. They can try and juggle to Hung, should get a hold of that. There comes that Featherstorm as well. Into the back line though goes Jackie. Keeper's verdict away. 1 for 1 as it stands. Rookie now in danger. Slowed down, trying to realm warp out. Good pulverize, and Rookie escapes with the realm warp. Mako though desperately low. The slow, the flash to confirm, and Mako dies 2 for 1. They lose Hung, but they get the bot lane.
Gala jumped onto again. This Xayah is really struggling to get good value down in these team fights, because even when they ult to buy some time, JackeyLove can fly in after. IG, they're going to have to give up the Baron. That is a huge win for top esports. Even with IG getting themselves, you know, this mid lane turret, top esports getting more control, the big objectives in this game.
Baron goes down, and actually, I do apologize. Hung survived that as well. It was the clone I saw die.
We've only seen 1 kill from IG, and that was in the Atacam's fight topside. So IG still kept to a single kill this game. Top esports dominating through it, and while we've said, well, maybe IG could mount a comeback, let's make no bones about it, folks. Top esports are crushing this game, particularly Kanavi and JackeyLove. This duo global combo has been disgusting. Watch it here. Now, Hung catches that Gala. He's on a pocket of vision. I thought Hung was the one getting caught at first, but he initiates. Suddenly, you know, the triple auto from the empowered W coming through, and then the follow-up of the Kai'Sa. Gala doesn't get to play the game. He uses the ult, uses the cleanse. It doesn't matter. He just goes down. He doesn't have enough HP to get through that.
See, he did have flash, so at that point, your best moment is flash behind the damn Kai'Sa. But even then, does it save you?
No, because you're still dying like this. JackeyLove has too much gold. I think, honestly, that could have killed, by the way, the APW. A lot of damage. I genuinely don't think it saves you. I think that the problem is the Xayah just has too little defensive stats and HP for this kind of lead against them.
Now the tier 2 topside being sieged by Cream, who's continuing to throw some, I'm assuming some like wrenches. I don't actually know what Cream throws as Orianna gears.
It's the Hextech triangle.
Yeah, the Hextech of course. Sorry, I was
he just throws alternators at you.
As opposed to the Chemtech rhombus.
You could have gone square.
I did, but I went for rhombus. It's a more interesting shape.
That's great. So realm walk behind them. This is their engage.
Double pulverize onto Jackie, who's going to flash away. Moko going to get on top of it. Headbutts it back towards the team. Jackie's going down. Big pickup. That's a lot of the gold down. What about the rest of the fight commencing, though, is 369 being jumped on by Wei, who had the steadfast presence preventing 369 from escaping until just now. Flashes over the wall he was shunted into.
Very creative realm warp, gets the Alistar into the backline and finds IG their first actual engage of the game, really. They get onto JackeyLove, and it does mean that the Baron will be blunted just a little. It won't be stopped, though. Doesn't have a flash. He actually might be in trouble here.
Yeah, I would say there's like the entirety of top esports here. I think he needs to leave. Gala's over the wall. I think Wei's just dead.
How does he leave?
Yeah, and then the Shy's going to get jumped on the bot side instead, so they turn their eyes while Wei is distracted by 369 onto the Shy, who does now manage to escape as Wei at least, but the Shy dying and top esports right the ship.
Doing with the 2 grubs, the Redemption trying to do some damage there. Mako not able to really do that much. IG just watches their base falls apart. They had that 1 engage, could only pick off 1 though, and they used a lot of ultimates to do it. Shockwave forcing the Ultimate out of Xayah. It's the reason why I like the Orianna into the Xayah, really. Trading ult for ult feels so much better for the mage than the AD carry. And top esports, make out like bandits, break the base.
A minute or so until Soul. I wonder whether you're going to try and stop people resetting a little bit, if that's possible. I don't know whether that even will be a possibility.
I think if they do that, Sam, there's a good chance they die.
Yeah. Deathcap's got done by Jackulov, by the way.
Yeah. He's been sat on that, and it hurts, Sam.
Yeah.
It really, really hurts.
Question.
Yes.
My understanding is that Void Staff is actually, on average, more damage than Deathcap, like I said.
It is. We will leave it at that. It
Okay.
is still a death cap.
It's still a Deathcap.
It's fine. You know, funnily enough, I was thinking about it in the back of my head too, thinking, pretty sure that whole Void Staff thing, because it allows you to, you know, get more damage off your base values as well. Really, really nasty rookie. Did that. Tanks a W. Bit of damage onto him. Now, a minute till Dragon would be the Ocean Soul. IG, well, I don't know. This is probably where you start calling up your pallbearers and saying, all right, bring the coffin here. We'll
yeah, bury us in the bot lane cemetery.
We want away there now too. You can see Top Esports just encroaching out so much vision. Top Esports are so good at this within the LPL. We don't have many teams which play this kind of vision control, but they're damn good at it at Top Esports.
We're down chat as well as Hong with the 4-man Pop Blossom. Shockwave onto Gala. Top Esports make it look easy. Style galore as they ease through the remaining health bars. Rookie survives, but I just don't know for how long. Kanavi with a GA will flash and shield vault. Gets a command protect and some dissonance to keep him running. Stacking up some more mortal will, and Rookie, he is all too mortal to the onslaught that Top Esports bring. Game 1 is a devastation in favor of the blue side squad.
Kanavi flashes up the JDG icon for his old team as they fell Invictus Gaming.
Invictus Gaming come out with something a little bit spicy. Camille Gallio, crowds are yelling, understandably. Game 2 on the docket. They've got Daney gifts in the picture-in-picture praying. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love those picture-in-pictures sometimes. Really, really great gift there of Daney, who is a character, it has to be said, in the backrooms. We've got a few coaches who are quite exciting to watch in the backrooms. I miss Swiffer. Swiffer Cam was the best.
Yeah, apparently he's not on Team Liquid anymore, I don't believe. So he might be going about the place. We shall see.
And TL didn't have the greatest year of all time in LTA. Kind of fell away as the year went on. Similarly for teams like Cloud9 as well. It'll be the first time in a very, very long time we aren't talking about Team Liquid and Cloud9 at Worlds. Yeah, big changing of the Garden Zone, right? FlyQuest, of course, looking fantastic for LTA. Should be a fun one to see how they do once they go up against international competition. I've done surprisingly okay the last couple of times I've done it. The likes of Inspired is right up there as arguably the best Western jungler of all time. And again, he will be now going up against potentially the likes of someone like a Kanavi, who needs to win a couple more games here. He could theoretically be showing Inspired how they do it in the East. Namely, quite well.
I really need to see. Did anyone spy whether the Shy is playing the Invictus Gaming skin?
Surely he is. He is, yes.
Very cool. Using Ning's jungle skin. Jackulov and Hung getting good early level damage in. They've been playing this lane quite a lot, and Hung is one of our better comers in the region, actually. God, it's so good to see the Shy on carry matchups like this. I hope he delivers on it.
I remember when the Shy was at his most exciting. 2019 spring, Sanguine Blade, Callista, and Quinn. Anyone else remember that silliness?
Oh, of course I do.
And Draven. Oh, hang on, Wade just flashed!
He wants to get past the vision. They know the ward is there. If he can get in behind Cream now, Rookie needs to get some CC down. If he gets it with this level 3, could be a big problem for Cream.
Could well be. There's the stun down. That actually makes things quite interesting. Cream no longer with the safety. Way is playing a lot of time to do this. Flash, Taunt coming on through just shy. No, it's on target. Cream with the shields, but it's not enough, and Way gets the kill on sub 10 HP, but gets away.
You can get a little bit confused by that Taunt because it expands the radius as you keep charging it. End up just getting in range as Rookie flash forwards with that level 3. Misses the cannon, but who cares? First blood. Wait, inventive flash to get the gank.
I think it was the red buffs, though, just got him in time, because I thought he was going to be just out of range on the shield of Durand. I would be so excited if we get a replay just to see whether it matters.
Close run stuff. The Shy pushing in towards that top side, doing quite well versus the Ambessa in the early levels. We were saying, you know, eventually the matchup becomes quite hard. Especially once you get that 1-2 items for the Camille. Feels like the short trades always go in their favor. But if you're winning this early, questions. Keen's playing it. Kanavi going bot side now. They do have flashes. No combat summoners, though. The heal and the barrier already down. This looks like a dangerous dive.
At level 2, good spell shield buys some time. Stun onto Jackie, prevents too much easy damage. Hung now in danger. Jackie forced to flash. They do get the kill, but it's a 1-for-1.
1-for-1, and I'm not going to lie, there's not that much left of a wave down hit. That's not bad for IG, and we asked them to have a better early game. I think this counts as it. Now, you've got that kill onto jungle. You've got the flash and that teleport out of Cream. And even in that bot lane dive, as Top East was trying to slap back, they managed to return one. So IG, in a decent spot now, really.
Maker potentially a little bit of danger. Does get to grand entrance out as Jackie with the teleport on the Ezreal. Comes right back to and keeps on shoving. Worth noting, of course, that Garlic even in gold now, of course, with the kill picked up. But is still down about 10-15 CS here as the Ezreal Karma has just put them to the Kosh, or at least kept them to the turret. Right. Bring this wave a little closer to his turret at this point, and has got the reset off, got his own cull here to work with. Na'Vi just picking up his Raptors here off that reset from the bot lane dive. Not quite as cleanly as I think Top Esports were hoping for. Worth noting, Gala didn't flash, by the way, so he's kept both his summoners, whereas Jackie is down both of his.
And now we get to see Top Esports. You've taken an early blow now. Particularly with Cream being less able to control that lane than he would have been before. I think Flash for Flash being down, I think the Galio does prefer that on the whole, because you do have mobility in a way that the Annie doesn't. You have that Justice Punch. Top Esports do with that now. Cream, I think he has leveled up an awful lot from last year, where we were saying, his first international performances. What can this guy do? He's had a bit of a weird old year with, of course, first stand being very poor form from him, not making MSI either. But now he's put under pressure. We shall see how far that development goes.
We just caught on the last dregs of that ward in the Tri-Brush. We'll want past Banana Bush and pick up that control ward. Cream needs to be a little bit careful here, actually. He's got a stun at level 6, and he just walks into it looking for the ward. And he's used his stun, he's used his bear. Unfortunately, it's a support bear. It's not an actual attack one, and Wei will pick up another kill in mid.
That's a Care Bear, not a Grizzly one. And it won't really be able to help you out too much there. IG punish the flashless Annie, and just as we were saying, how far does the development go? You're under pressure now, Cream. Hurdles under the heat from jungle and mid. Top East was losing 2 kills in that mid lane and 2 kills to the Xin Zhao. Now, normally I don't think the Xin Zhao is... Well, it's good to have gold on anyone, right? But I don't think Xin Zhao is someone that you need like massive amounts of gold and you'd rather give it to an AD carry. I think in a game like this where Top East was want to kill the first carry, getting towards an early Sundered Sky, under early Starets potentially too, and I think Starets is quite important in this game actually. I think, yeah, the goal on the Xin Zhao does mean an awful lot, because the Xin Zhao can walk up and be the tank which they don't really have.
For sure, and I think we've all seen Xin Zhaos from ahead that become these absolutely obnoxious team fighters who just get onto the back line. It's incredibly sticky. Even as the Ezreal, it can be very hard to keep your distance from the Xin Zhao for the entirety of a fight, especially if you start stacking up 3 Talon Strikes and landing Wind Becomes Lightnings and all those kinds of things. Very frustrating. I'll also note the Shy has just reset, but was about 10 CS or so up on 369. He's got a large wave to pick up here as he crashed into lane as well. And this Camille is doing really, really well.
He's picked up the cull, just saying, okay, I'm going to get myself to those items I need, and I'll be completely fine. The wave is in a perfect spot. You just mentioned that. It's going to collect it all at turret. And I think the Shy realizes, I can be the carry in this game. There are so many one-shottable targets here for the Camille later in this game, especially with the Galio over the shoulder. I've missed a bit of Camille Galio. I have. Now, I think there were points where Camille Galio, particularly when it's Camille in jungle, in fact, there was a really good clip on stream by Riot in terms of saying, why is Camille jungle dead? Saying, well, if you ever have Camille jungle in meta, why would you ever play a champion like Jarvan?
Yeah.
Because Camille jungle does everything so well, it invalidates so much of the rest of the jungle pool.
Yeah.
In top lane, you can at least control some of those strengths and weaknesses a little bit more in terms of the trading patterns and being stuck in a side lane, not just coming out of fog of war. but having a little bit of it helps like this for occasional one-shots.
That was a nice play from the Shy. Will eat a bit of damage on the retreat here as Jackie goes up to the Essence Flux, lands a couple Mystic shots. Kanabi now around as well, but that's a big chunk onto the AD carry as Grub spawn, and means IG here in force will get these that much contest. Good play from the Shy.
Actually, with the Shy waiting for the second E cooldown, chance of the Galio coming up towards him as well. 369 gets alone time on bot side, so we'll get a plate at least, maybe two. Not sure he's going to quite get that one, actually, so just the one for now, and depending on whether there's going to be another response from a teleport coming towards that bot side, I don't think so. So it should probably still be two, all things said and done. But now IG have the full 3 grubs to expose an open map if top esports leave it that way.
And look, it evens up the gold lead top side. 369 gets a couple hundred gold ahead, and that's nice for 369, who was in danger of falling behind in the individual matchup. But again, for Shy picking up those grubs, Camille with grubs, with a Galio behind her, is a side lane win condition, and underscore it a few times.
In towards this top lane now, Gala and Mako, they've reached the point where they're stable in this matchup. Now, the Ezreal Karma does give you some early power, but the Sivir Rakan has enough defensive nature and has enough healing from occasional Rakan Qs. Keep yourself safe. Way is on top side. Galio is here too. If they do go up towards this, there could be a Galio ult coming down under that turret. Not for now, though. A little bit slow, and I think IG might call the playoff, and indeed they do.
Echo end up taking just a bit too much damage on the approach there. Good interrupt on the backs, though. TP now forced.
Yeah, Galio did walk back towards mid lane, so IG realistically were all... Now, we can see IG's map play. We know that they're calling it off because Rookie is moving back towards mid lane. Top esports don't, which is why they call out that teleport, just to make sure they have that extra degree of safety. 369 spotting the spell shield use. Will force the flash with the ult.
Yeah, tried to spell shield the repudiation, but it gave a very good angle for a potential follow-up with the public execution, and so that flash was required there, or Gala would have died. Delays his reset actually here a bit, means he's going to be at this bot lane as the tower crashes, or as the wave crashes. That could be a little bit problematic. I wonder whether the wave is going to be forced to go down to that. Actually, mid lane, we've got a bit of a play happening. Reset does come on through from the Annie, and so won't be interrupted. Did see a number of members of IG around.
I mean, it's a little hard to shut down a Galio with Phase Rush and first bit of HP as well, and the Flash. So even though you could have maybe hard forced, it just feels a little bit hard going into Fog of War like that onto the tankiest member of the enemy team. They try to avoid that as best they can. They're actually losing that trade pretty heavily.
Clips complete.
Yeah.
That'll be why.
Shy doesn't have his first item completed.
And does end up losing that one pretty handily, actually. Of course, no public execution means unlikely to be at threat of death, per se. But it's going to have to wait a little bit, because 24 is quite an expensive item.
Well, will help with that a little bit. Charlotte pushing in the bot side. Ooh, jungle support walking towards them. Hunk does have both summoners.
Vicious charge forward, did miss the wind, becomes lightning. Out comes the focus resolve. Pressing guard down, Kanavi exhausted, Cyclone in, but here's the hero's entrance. Kanavi now in danger, does get knocked up, but Cream's come on in. Flash for the stun onto the escaping Rakan, who then dies. Way now in danger. Flash from Kanavi with a Nimbus strike as well. Claims another. IG go too deep, and top esports respond really well.
2 kills right now. Kanavi not going to be able to get anything more than that, but yes, 2 deep from IG, even with the Galio ult trying to bail them out. Kanavi and Hung get the better part of that. Our top esports find themselves that opening. Jackie stopping a recall there. Do they think they can dive Rookie on this kind of HP now? There's no teleports. I think they can dive the Galio.
They're certainly thinking about it. Rookie's going to need a monster taunt. Flashes. Good chunk onto Hung, who needs to shield and get away. Gets at least one back, does Rookie. Jackie Love will at least help claim the other, but it is Kanavi who picks it up 1 for 1. Could be worse there, I fear, for Rookie.
Really well played from Rookie. Manages to punish Hung as he takes up tower aggro. Uses the flash to do so. Manages to get something for his trouble. Dragon started by top esports. There won't be a contest around this, so top esports will find themselves their second Dragon of the game. Kanavi now 3-0-1. That is terrifying. There was a point where I think Kanavi was the best Wukong player in the world around 2023. Yeah, that Kanavi was exhausted going in, but they just don't disengage him quickly enough. And Mako on the Rakan is not that tanky. It's caught by Cream, who's on the roam as well, so even though Galio gets there first, and he's not far enough behind for it to make much of a difference.
Gala has currently thrown a singular boomerang blade in this fight and has no autos.
Well, I'm not going to lie, Sam, he wasn't in position to do so. So
yeah.
I'm not going to blame Gala. I'm going to blame IG going way too far ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of... We're angling with that one. He was sort of caught trying to get the wave into turret and wasn't there in time. Well, it wasn't there in time. Not Gala wasn't, per se. It just meant that you were playing effectively a 3v4 there without your AD carry.
Gold is now very even because of this last set of plays. Top Esports climbing into a small gold lead, but I mean, IG, they haven't given up the deficit they had done the last time, which is important for them. See the Shy a little bit behind in his matchup because of the plates taken by Top Esports top laner in that grub trade before. But now, you know, he's getting close towards that. Cull getting stacked in. He has himself the Triforce. The Shy will eventually start to pay off the laning lead he had earlier.
Exactly. He doesn't really get on the top of any of these plates really at all, despite getting the grub. Which is a bit of a shame. Would have liked to leverage that a bit better. Might now be in danger. Hook shot away. Should be fine.
Bit of a speed up coming through from the Karma means that they're quite threatening actually in those situations. What do we have coming up next? Got Herald up in a minute. Might see a fight around that one. Kanavi does have his ult, does have first item. He's really fed actually, so Kanavi will be spawning for a fight, especially with the Karma shield speeding him up and giving him a bit more effective HP.
At this point on things like Herald spawn, if Top Esports pick it up, it would be their third. That would get the mark towards feats of strength. IG got the first 3 kills. They've already got that one, so realistically we're going to need to see either IG pick up a lot of objectives in short succession or both teams fighting over that first turret. Interrupt there on the reset. Nice from Jackie.
He was on vision, so easy one to do, but every time you stop a reset means that the play which they were planning is a little bit behind. That stuff can be really important. What else is happening on the map? Well, we do have that Herald in 20 seconds where he'll be slowed to that now. Not a great ult there from Cream actually. The Shy very happy to say, okay, and he was going to get himself his Cull, has the teleport to come back, spots Kanavi out here. They really want to force onto him. I'm not sure exactly how successful they'll be.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. Find all that much, and they're trying to stop the Shy ever getting any alone time with the turret. They've got a support, they've got a jungler always hovering it, and I can understand why, but it does mean they're not in the river as this Herald is spawned.
IG, easy as you like. Not going to get contested over this that heavily at all. 369 goes bot side, does have the teleport, realistically doesn't want to be up here. The biggest thing about that play is that I think Top Esports wanted to punish the Shy just before he got his back, get him caught out in the side lane, maybe push through that top turret if they could, or go towards the Herald with the Shy being down. Can't quite manage to do that, and the Shy uses his HP, walks up to the turret, has his Cull cashed in. Now at this point, and happy to just stick in lane, getting more farm. The more farm that Camille gets access to, the better it is for IG.
Herald comes on in, the Shy chunked a little bit there, but certainly not going to stop from sticking around. The turret goes down, the Shy is backing on a good time and knows he'll be in range for local gold and gets to go back. 369 will pick up a response turret on the bot side, but of course IG did get the turret first and the feats of strength that come with it.
Yeah, you would think, well, IG, do they get themselves the objectives? Well, they got that Herald, which got them to it, and the first turret helped them along their way. Now we have the Shy walking out onto the map after buying a tunnel and a ruby crystal, so has, as you can see by the HP bar, a lot more HP to work from now. Top Esports will find it a little harder to cut through that Camille. Interested to see what they go through as their second item. I do wonder whether Starix for both top and jungle would be really big here, given I think the way Top Esports want to play this game is quick explosive pick, make sure that the Galio ult just delivers him as the next person in line to die. I think that's the play that they want to go towards. Much harder to do that against ulting Shinzao if he does have that Starix, which he won't be going towards with the Phage, interestingly. He looks like he is going towards that Black Cleaver. Of course, very good at buffing up his team. But I wonder whether the Shy will do that instead.
He's going to get jumped on here by 369, who is getting pretty scary here. Public execution, Cream behind him. Flash for the stun, will get it onto Rookie. Flashes in turn. Still likely going to die here. Nice combo from Top Esports.
Rookie, my dude, you can't be that disrespectful. Uses the flash late and goes down. Yes, it takes the summoners of both 369, not both from 369, actually, these flashes came back up. Uses the ult of 369 and the flash of Cream, but Rookie will be dead. The turret will die on the top side of the map. Cream can still teleport down towards the bot side and fight for this dragon if Top Esports wants it.
Worth noting as well, Kanavi not gone for the early objective top side. Did pick up a lot of additional farm, stole away the red buff, gave that over to Jackie Love in time for this dragon. You are actually in a good spot as this Wukong.
Galio teleporting back in. He has himself that ultimate. Is the Shy strong enough to properly fight now? We might see our proper first 5v5 of the game. Top Esports trying to get some poke in with the Ezreal. IG do have the Camille Galio, though.
They certainly go looking for it. Can't find the angle they're looking for as Hung flashes away. That's the quickness down and the on the hunt.
The Shy also flashed too. Ult's in now.
We're looking for something. Here's the hero's entrance. Kanavi's trapped inside the Cyclone. It's the clone that takes most of the damage, though, and they end up losing the Camille. IG, that is a poor fight as 369 continues to hop forwards. We've been talking about his later boatman all game long, but 369 is the one that come away with a much better team fight and keep hopping for more. Gala now in danger, gets stunned under the turret, and Jackie picks up the Sivir.
Clean disengage from Top Esports. The Shy tries to E-flash Jackulov, but misses it as Jackulov E's out to dodge the stun. It means that the Shy was left in enemy territory. Wei had failed disengage too alongside Mako, so both Wei, Mako, and the Shy all failed to hit their mark, and Top Esports turn it around on them. They'll get mid lane out of turret, they'll get themselves the dragon. Huge swing in our second place team from playoffs favor.
Now suddenly the gold lead is very much Top Esports with it, and they get soul points. Have a look again.
So Wade doesn't get the knockup cleanly onto Hung. Mako goes forwards as well, and just as we saw off screen there, the Shy looks at the E-flash onto Jackulov, who ease away from it, and the Camille is then down a hook shot, down his flash, and left in enemy territory. So the three engaging members of IG all fail to hit their mark. That is a disaster team fight. Great reactions from Jackulov. If he doesn't E at that exact time, yes, you're probably dying. It is the Ezreal, so you have some defensive play against it. Top Esports outplay.
And then IG make matters worse by having Gala die here under the turret, which sucks. And even just an insult to injury, they threw all the damage to the Wukong clone, not the actual Wukong.
Okay, it does look bad, but the Wukong is invisible, so they actually can't damage him there. In fairness, they actually, you can't click auto attacks on the invisible Wukong. It sucks. I mean, yes, all of your damage did go into the clone, but what else are you meant to do at that point? The Shy just wanted to charge up his Q2, I suppose. But IG, that's a huge misplay from them there. The Shy closer towards the second item. I see people saying, well, what about the Shojin for the Camille? This is why I wonder whether, yeah, that is the Sterex. If you're diving in, you need to be survivable. This is the correct item for the job. Atakan is now spawned. Top Esports, they are down quite a few summoners. IG will have their ultimates back up again. They feel like they can make a better engage of it this time.
He goes arcane shifting forwards. Doesn't find too much. Atakan started by Top Esports.
So IG, can they find themselves the engage that they failed last time? Wei, Mako, the Shy, one of them needs to hit their mark better this time. All three of them didn't quite get it done last time. Cream sat on a control ward, has himself his full stun, no flash. That full combo will do a good amount of damage. Atakan healed off of, looks like. The Shy could be like collecting the mid wave. Top Esports wasting their time a little bit here.
Well, ward 1 down. Second, IG enough to clear up those wards and not commit too hard here to the Atakan from either side. Worth noting again, we've got 2.5 minutes till Mountain Soul, and that gets tricky again then for IG to manage. You've got some decent anti-tank options, but they don't want to deal with all those extra shields when you're pretty burst-heavy comp with a Camille Galio.
Top Esports clearing through bot side jungle, getting vision control, heading back to the Atakan to clear out this ward. Again, IG are they in position now. Supports teleport coming out from Mako. The Shy still has his. Top Esports starting to burn it. IG don't have a HP vision on it right now. They'll see it now. So they'll notice that half HP. Do they want to commit to the fight? Cream checking the Shy right now, interestingly. The Shy needs to be careful on the flank. If he gets caught, big part of that comp goes with it.
Cream still off vision. They just can't see a damn thing. The Shy's getting jumped on. He is so dead. Public execution afterwards. Will Hex take ultimatum and look to try and escape him? Misses the hook shot and dies.
They don't use the Galio ult, but they're going toward the Atakan instead. They say, all right, we'll give up the Camille. We want the dragon.
Flashing on in. They do take off that Atakan, but they'll lose another member. And they've still got a minute and a half until Mountain Soul's coming as Rookie and Gala now trying to speed their way to safety. Cream's speeding himself up, looking to get on top of someone like Gala. Won't be able to do it. They lose an extra 2 members, but they get the Atakan, I guess.
IG could have used the Galio ult to help out the Camille. They chose not to and take the Atakan instead, but Top Esports were willing and ready to take the fight. They lose the Atakan, but they'll take the inner turret after the play as well. Top Esports, their objective play comes to the forefront again. They choked out the vision, bought out the Camille, and used that to roll into a winning play despite losing the Atakan and the objective bounty.
a look at this replay again, because we kind of knew that the ward control right now from Top Esports was pretty damn disgusting. And the Shy just gets jumped on.
You could have pulled the Galio here. You could have done. And with the magic shield that came through, it would have helped. That, I'm not going to lie, I don't think that missed hook shot actually makes a difference. He was probably dead anyway, folks. However, it's just a little bit embarrassing for him, I suppose. First time he's played the Camille since 2019. We were expecting great things, but IG as a team are just behind Top Esports in setup. They have to walk into the fog of war. There's so much burst waiting for them. Kanavi and Cream doing different jobs in different parts of the fight, doing a great job with that. Really think Kanavi's Wukong is just going to start hyper-accelerating now. Mountain Soul on the table in 20 seconds. IG, what have you done around these objectives? Top Esports have got a death knell on you already.
It's not looking fantastic, is it? It was looking more than competitive early on, and then a few fights go wrong, and suddenly you're a down sell point and 4,000 odd gold.
2,000 gold on that top lane matchup too. The Shy gone for the defensive item second, which we agreed with at the time, but now it just feels like, well, it's not going to help you die any less quickly. You don't have the damage to carry the fight. Great damage on Tomeko!
Oh, goodbye. No one can face check, and the catch from Top Esports is deadly. 4v5, IG must contest the dragon.
You're going to have to. It has to be a steal. Wei has a flash, has his ultimate. Can he make his way on to the dragon, though?
Try and find his way in. Best he can. 369 though, buying a lot of time. As always, got to go in. Cream goes down. They do kill off the jungler. The public execution on the backside as the Shy tries the best. They do kill off the Ezreal, but the problem is the dragon still goes the way of Top Esports, and now shields everywhere. And despite a slightly awkward fight, it is Top Esports that get away with the dragon.
That was actually an excellent play from the Shy. It's just come too late, and the Mountain Soul goes to Top Esports. The fact that they managed to catch off both mid lane and AD carry in that fight was not what I expected from IG, especially with Mako not being there to help with the engage. But Top Esports take those few kills, those deaths I suppose, and say, well, we'll still get the smite down, win the Mountain Soul, and despite what was actually a very good turnaround from IG, it's a winning play for Top Esports again. Mako dies very, very quickly. Serious credit to IG for picking up something here. I thought they were completely dead to rights after that. It was just going to be a smite fight or nothing else. They managed to catch out Cream somewhere in amongst this, and Wade does a really good job of just saying, screw it, I'm going to get some value in here. Gets onto Cream, full burst in. Shy goes in after, and he gets onto Jackula. This is actually incredible. The fact that he manages to catch out both carries is really insane. They just end up losing the smite because Wade goes down before it. And the Mountain Soul goes over, so despite the heroics, Top Esports in a crushing lead.
Baron buff will be Top Esports after it all. Yeah, finally winning a fight or two, sort of, at least going even. It's just come a little too little, a little too late here. Now, with the Mountain Soul on top of everything else, we'll slide onto these turrets. Hook shot. Jackie does get to Arcane Shift. Now the Shy has earned that hook shot. Flash forward from Hung to try and get the renewal. In comes that Hextech ultimatum. They'll try and buy some time, but the public execution onto Gala on the backside means that it's just two members of Invictus Gaming dying. Way throws down the Crescent Guard, but it is swiftly broken into fractals. That shape ain't making any geometric sense.
Top Esports are so good as an organized unit. Yes, this team got they got just slimly outdone in those finals. But remember, folks, they went 5 games for it. Right here in the regionals, you might feel hard they've been hard done by. But Top Esports have turned up today with not a single break in their step. They'll take an early series point here against IG.
In they come with Baron minions behind them. The legions amass at Invictus Gaming's gates. And the last fortress in the center collapses under the weight of their power. Jackie, Arcane shifts forward to pick up his first look in the game there. They'll pick up the Nexus as well.
And it doesn't look like he's making it here today, folks. It would be an uphill battle, to say the least. IG against the ropes. Round 3, fight.
Dang. The Shy with the early knock-up on the Scion, baby. Massive Top Esports banner in the crowd. Does Worlds playing count as making it to Worlds? Absolutely
It does, yeah. And it is worth noting that there are some separations between certain points where, for instance, the World Qualifying Series in 2023 didn't count. That's a Braum... Oh, Rookie has to flash away because the Braum passive was on him. He will get a safe recall. He will be able to come back to lane at full HP if he recalls now.
He's burned apart. They're sticking around. They want to fight this.
I don't know about that one, personally. They want to clear the ward, and they do. I don't know if I like the fact that Rookie sticks around. I suppose
Still here.
the Shy's here as well. Wants to maybe get a Q onto Cream. Maybe Rookie wouldn't have had enough time to fully get back to lane. So flash down for Rookie. Bit of HP down across both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, again, the Shy, starting with the Unburrow, actually. We saw the little knock
sorry.
up on 360's. Yeah, I know. It's like...
I don't know why. I was like, oh, they're burrowed, so they can use Q. And I'm just like, if they're burrowed, they obviously have W. Oh, God. You can tell I haven't cast this champion for a little while. Of course, there was a time where Rek'Sai was everything
everywhere
in Pro.
Yeah, there was that
for
holy
those
trinity.
Well, we were talking about best junglers to ever play. Clearlove is amongst them, and Clearlove's Rek'Sai was one of the greatest champion player combinations that we've ever seen because of the ability to just turn up everywhere, the early ganking. Oh, people forget that going over walls to get a gank was actually quite a rare thing to do. It was only really Jarvan and flag drag, then waiting 20 seconds or whatever. 15 seconds for the next
Lee
one.
Sin, sort of.
Yeah, it was quite rare to see it. Rek'Sai gave you that way of the fat walls in top lane to get cool ganks. Kanavi going in towards Raptor Invade. Wei will not see this happen. Well, no, he will because the ward's over the wall there. Does Wei come down to contest? Surely he should have seen this with that ward over the other side of it because he wants to fight over the red buff.
Yes, he does. We'll be at level 3. Kanavi now here. Has not burned Smite. Wei now going to know what's going on as he's hit by the Dark and Daggers. Gets himself the Blast Shield. Doesn't look like he's getting much in the way of support here, so it'll just be a red buff down and Wei. I don't know about that pathing.
No, me neither. I think that Kanavi has done it again. The one-man army gets himself some reinforcements this time. We say one-man army because it's a fun phrase to say, but Kanavi, what can't this guy do? He's going across mid lane to potentially protect his own side of the jungle too. 369 could roam over. There is a teleport coming in from Rookie to help him be on the map. Wei realizes I can't even go towards the red buff. I have to try and go towards Krugs. Cream will have to teleport back in if he wants to play. Wei at least gets Krugs back.
He does. Kanavi around. They know where both of each other are. Wei will go the other direction. The reset coming through from Cream means that potentially Rookie could come over a little faster. The Shy with better shove and the ability to come across the wall with the Unburrow, but actually goes on to 369 instead, just keeping him honest.
He needs to make sure that that Sion is back in lane. And the 1v1... Okay, well, that was what we saw earlier. It was the flash forced from Rookie onto Cream as Cream was trying to get his own wave push in. So, honestly, crisis averted for Wei. That could have gone a lot worse. He does lose his own Raptors, and he loses his own red buff, but still, he gets something back. It could have been worse.
He might actually be able to get double scuttle here as well, so we'll end up relatively even. We'll be strictly a camp up but down the buff, so should theoretically end up a little bit more even now with some of the camp respawns coming on through. Can probably do something like Krugs, Raptors, and reset to be around topside.
The 369 using the breadth of his HP bar to make sure that it's held in place for Jackulov, the lane swap coming through. Now, I don't think a lot of people have really looked into... I'll put it this way. I don't think people know the ins and outs of this forms of lane swap compared to the previous ones.
Sure.
Because now lane swaps happen at 3 to 5 minutes. They don't always look the same. No. When we had the level 1 resets coming, the lane swaps coming through, I think people largely knew what was happening. What happens in lane swaps now, folks, is you want to fight for one good trade in one lane to make sure that you can control the wave against the enemy's will. And that has to happen sometime between end of 2 to 3 minutes and then up towards 4 minutes. Because what you want to do at that point is switch normally your AD carry into a lane so they catch the wave on your turret, and then your top laner teleports to the other side of the map if possible, and they catch the wave there too. The gold standard is making sure you catch both waves on both top lane and bot lane at the same time outside your turret.
Just gonna cross the veil, get caught there by the Winter Spite, but with Mako around, difficult to go any further than that. Beryl skin here on down one here.
Mako, have that flash, I have to use it actually. There you go. To get out of dodge, Mako. Base checking. Place where he didn't really belong.
Actually, now Kanavi looking to potentially interrupt Wei's back here, but another reset will come on down. Winter's Bite just wide, but that's now potentially leaving the likes of the Shy in a tricky spot.
Kanavi just using that early power of the Neferi once you do get Couple of levels that first back in to say, all right, I'll bully you out. Jaculov trying to shut down the Shy a little bit here, but to be honest, again, the Rek'Sai does just heal for forever. This is the problem.
That's what they were doing, yeah.
This is the problem about the Rek'Sai. The Rek'Sai is just so hard to keep out of lane. They will just always be there. They can burrow, hit a Q, and if they hit a couple of minions and you, they've got enough regen to go through the next of it. Sion is proxying on the other side, knowing that Ziggs can't really keep the wave out of turret for now. But it's not like Top Esports are gaining that much against the Rek'Sai either.
No, I think probably end up being about a 4 or 5 CS lead to the Sion, who's being zoned off a little bit more freely. Kind of it. Rookie shoving this wave a little bit in the face of Creep, who is trying to do his level best to do, surprise, surprise, the same. Too much side of that. We've got Grubs in about a minute. Dragon's up, but neither team has been willing or able to start that one as yet. And on the board. A relatively quiet early game. I feel like that is really bad for either team here. You really do want that kind of one item level 6 to come on through. Again, if you're going to run Aurora Ziggs, you kind of want to be able to actually load the shotgun. That involves getting the ammunition named ultimates.
Getting towards the point where objective trades are going to start coming through. Exactly. Will lead to, we are getting to the point where, of course, really those first ultimates of the game might start determining these fights, and IG are desperate. Try find themselves a good early game beyond what they've had in the rest of this series.
Has to be the case as Cream ends up taking an electrocute trade there, but also trades back well with the Hextech Ray. A bit of a chunk there onto the Shy, who was under the turret, but will manage to burrow away, tunnel away, I think it is. What is it just tunnel? I forget the full name of the ability.
I cannot remember.
So you've got Burrow, Unburrow. Prey Seeker is the Burrow Q. Queen's Wrath. And we've got a teleport coming on in here, so maybe we'll have to discuss those ability names a little later. Hung.
Here. And W the ult from the Vi.
Wins the first smite fight for Grub number 1. Still caught in the back of the pit. Over comes Gala looking to throw in a minefield. Will eviscerate over the wall. The Shy TPing in. Can potentially Void Rush to get into potentially interesting scenarios. Still unburrowed. Goes to find the knockup, and Kanavi will call of the packet and throw up a JDG emote. Here's where his bread is buttered. Throwing back to some of his glory days. Grub secured by IG 2-1.
So, teleports come in. There's no blood just yet. Well, what do the lanes look like after this? The Shy left that bot lane to go top side. IG currently have, yes, 2 on cooldown, but 4 teleports, by the way, because Mako's got one from Summon a Spellbook. Gala has 1 base. Keep an eye on that later into the game. Actually, the amount of summoners they can throw around the map is kind of insane. Top Esports not unhappy, though, with nothing happening in the early game, because I think, on the whole, they are the ones which want to scale up a little bit, get in towards grouped fights, and then play around a very strong front to back. Once they have a bit of HP on the Victor, a lot of ability to disengage from the big engage with stuff like potentially a Zonya's later, and of course that Kanavi W on the Neferi.
Yeah, we've already got the early Tiamat here for the Rek'Sai, who is probably going to go build towards Titanic. He wants some wave shove between your Queen's Wrath, your ability to just auto the wave down with a load of AoE. You know, things disappear quite fast.
Oh god, it's just so hard ever getting a thing. Giving a tank sustain is a problem, especially when Rek'Sai. What more do you want? You have no mana abilities because you're a manaless champion. You have just I mean, there is actually a chance that he could get ulted there by the Sion. It's a chance, but
Riju's holding on to the E.
All he has to do is just hang on to the Q and say, okay, a bit more rage. Ooh, I have HP again.
Gets really angry. Is it just rage? I forget what the actual name is.
Is it
ferocity? Because sometimes they have like different.
I can't remember. There's rage, fury. It might be fury.
Yeah.
Dragon's gonna get taken by Top Esports most likely. I mean, where is Wei? Could go for the steal. Doesn't get in time.
Satchel was decent. Wei now going to get jumped on with the call of pack and the Hun's pursuit. Wei going to flash over the wall. Hung now in danger. He gets caught in the back of the pit and goes down. Void Assault potentially available. As they go in with the cease and desist, and a bomb comes on through. Picks off the Neferi, they will lose the Aurora, who got stunned up in place. Makes that the 1-for-2 right now in favor of IG. 369, potentially in a dangerous spot. Worth noting, by the way, the Shy still shoving top. That was a 4v5.
Yeah. And the Rexo's pretty good at killing towers, because you can get that auto reset with the Q. 2 plates down, and they get the 2 kills. They lose the Dragon, yes, but I don't think IG are unhappy with that. They'll take the golden pocket.
Some kills and some good members there. It's Gala who picks one up. It's Way as well on the Vi, who picks up another. Goes out that wave there, but I think IG solid early game. They've actually got a lead. A lead!
And they put the dog on one.
That was where I was going to go as well, so I'm glad you're on the same wavelength there. Good.
Do that occasionally. As they try and jump on Wei, who didn't get into the pit in time and was a little bit vulnerable, but then he jumps out, gets back in for another play. The fast fuse passive from Gala is what takes him down at the end of it. Yes, Rookie ends up dying, but you'll take the 2-for-1 and the plates in topside.
Yeah, Rookie tried to time out the concussive blows and was a little bit greedy about it, gets stunned up and gets full sent at by 369 and Jackie Love as a result. Still though, good early lead. Gala with the early Ludens. Pretty okay spot here as the Titanic gets completed. Well, just the first items in general across the board, actually, as I look at the various people get their backs in.
The Titanic for Rek'Sai is so core to the build. It means that your wave clear is infinite, you have a bunch of HP, it's a lot of base HP for
This
an
top
item.
can't sink.
Does anyone else remember the, God, what was it? There's like movies in 5 seconds or whatever it is. The Titanic in 5 seconds. The ship can't sink. It's just the end.
I think it was in 20 seconds. Movies in 20 seconds.
20 seconds, that's the one. God. Oh, what a time to be around in early 2000s internet humor. The peak of humor it was back then.
We're going to start calling Charlie Bit My Finger.
And then there was How It Should Have Ended.
that
was a great
fantastic.
one. It's like, I think you just said, because I'm Batman, because you wanted to say, because I'm Batman. And I think, you're goddamn right. Jackie Love jumped on
Cease and desist. Way is lucky to show that Jackie Love can't be the Joker in this scenario, but unfortunately they're going to throw in good Satchel there to interrupt that Hound's pursuit. You're absolutely right. Change my phrasing partway through there as Gala interrupts potential engage. A couple of ultimates burn now for Top Esports.
Yeah, Gala having that first item very much helps him to Jackie Love down flash. Couldn't get the kill cleanly, of course, but Wei starting to get the ball rolling on the way. And I was saying this before, but for those of you that don't know or just tuning in as well, Vi in China is called Wei. So Wei is playing Wei. He is playing the champion he is named after, pretty much.
I didn't know that.
And remember, folks, that he was the best Vi player in China, arguably in the world in 21, and particularly 2022, which is when the champion really started to pop off. That MSI, which RNG won, which are going back towards mid lane, the Vi Ari meta. Of course, Wei was insane at Viego around that meta too. And people kind of forget around that point how good he was. He's matured a lot since then. I think he's gone from being the person who Xiao who would just drag around the rift and say, oh well,
This is what we're doing. Yes,
this is what we're doing. Wei has become much more of a leader himself now. I think on this team, he's not necessarily... Hang on a second, jumping force, missed the edge of that ultimate. Rookie's in trouble now, actually.
This idea there, I won't lie, it's going to be forced to flash as Hung's coming up as well. Mako around, I can see what the thought process was, but slightly off.
Rookie, I'm getting a bit worried. Rookie earlier this split was on MVP caliber performance in regular season. Playoffs got gutted by Knight. The times he faced against him, really. I mean, there was regular season which was a bit better, but IG got demolished in playoffs sadly on their crash out. And now coming through into this series in regionals, Rookie's not had a great time of it. And in this game, he's made a couple of easy mechanical misplays so far. I need to see more from one of the greatest mid laners to ever do it. He needs to show his caliber again, because if he doesn't, IG might, even with all the resources to build the super team, miss out on their goal of Worlds.
Again, I don't want to put all of it on Rookie, because there's a number of players on this team who haven't fired on all cylinders, but when you are doing things like on the Aurora, you got to do better than that, especially if you're going to be a big part of the damage. A bit of CS here as well, down about 20, so I know he's been making some moves with the team. That's all well and good. And I've been traded for the Shy Zone alone time in a side lane, so that makes some expensive where the 20 CS discrepancies happen in either solo lane, but Shy, speaking of, actually... Speaking of mechanical misplays, that was a bit unfortunate. Mid lane, going to jump onto Gala, who flashes away. The Hound's Pursuit comes on through the Redemption for additional damage even, and they blow up the Ziggs.
Gala just destroyed in the mid lane. Gala's Ziggs is one of his best champions. For those of you that remember,
LNG 2023, his Ziggs was one of the best in the entire damn league. Right there is nothing that he can do to save himself. The Shy loses that flash, but you can see there that 369 can't really stop Top Esports. Sorry, can't even really stop Shy from going towards that tower, even with the flash blown. Herald will be taken by Top Esports. I don't think it's going to be enough to buy them first turret, though, which was something that they would have really liked to have gotten through this Herald.
Yeah, a couple grubs on top of the Rek'Sai with the Titanic Hydra shove. This Rek'Sai is a split push win condition. They tried it last game with the Camille and never actually got to play around the side lane and never really managed to pull off the Camille Galio combo. Because actually, the Shy really struggled to find a hook shot. Is the honest answer. There was nowhere for Rookie to ult to.
Don't make no moans about it. Well, I guess we're not going to see the Shy's Camille for another 6 years, Sam.
Yeah. It's a good early game.
Oh, well.
I'll give him that.
Back to the bench for you, Camille. Okay, so this is the play over here. Kanavi just says, all right, you are in range of my ultimate. He's over the wall. Brawlmol is really good for Hung. Hung, I think, has been very, very good for Top Esports. All things said and done, this guy's had a huge glow up throughout the year. I couldn't be happier for him as well. And of course, he used to be Gala's support on LNG 2023. Back when they made their finals in summer. And we're looking like a dark horse for Worlds. Sad. LNG is such a sad story. I mean, there are a number of tragic stories in the LPL because there are so many teams, sadly. One of them has to roll tragedy every now and then. LNG, I think we're a team which were actually World's title caliber in 2023 with that Scout, Gala, roster, Tarzan in the jungle. Couldn't quite make it work. Bombed out in those quarterfinals. And, yeah, well, last year it was a similar story when they had Scout as well, of course. Yeah, things going from bad to worse for them. Gala on that roster too. LNG, of course, one of our top teams falling apart a little bit away. Going on to Hung, using his ghost.
Gala's now potentially in danger. Fisher comes on down. Gala about to be jumped on himself. Eviscerate forwards. Good satchel to interrupt the attempted engage. Cream is left in a 1v2. Flashes out. Solar Flare. Void Assault. And they manage to pick off the Victor. Under the turret goes Kanavi, but now he's split off. And Gala's survived the engage. Mako survives the hill for a second or two longer, but Jackie Love, with the Vigilance passive, manages to pick up one. The Shy trapped in a 1v3. Buying some time, but where does he go? Decimating Smash. Kanavi should be able to eviscerate over the wall and keep himself safe. And Top Esports managed to pick up 2.
Top Esports winning out on the extended engagement again. Gala picked off, not picked off, but
forced out of the play,
forced out of the play early. Does a good job to survive versus Kanavi, but the Gala ultimate wasn't really used to threaten the carries. Had to use it to save himself a little bit. And you'll notice that Rookie couldn't get into that play to use his ultimate either. Top Esports a little quicker on the roam, a little bit more value. This is how things started in that last game, realistically, too.
I will, however, note, IG did get their 3 kills first there. They got the first one,
That's
so they
true.
did get feats of strength with the turret earlier. So, you know, for all that the play ends up being Top Esports favoured, Rookie gets a wave mid, you do get the boots. It's not an absolute disaster in Victor's game.
And they jump onto the Braum, which... I mean, what it does is just deliver them a little closer towards the Victor, who's their actual target. They're not realistically looking towards the Braum. Good ultimate combination there. But then the retreat's just a little disorderly. Way... Is that... I don't know. Mako gets caught out. The Shy's left out alone there. Way, of course, peels back to see if he can take down the Neferi, which I don't believe they're quite able to do.
He
so
gets
actually
over the wall,
away.
yeah. And
Rookie wasn't out to play either, because Rookie wasn't even called into the play. And look, we're seeing the blueprint of the Rek'Sai. Very, very hard to take down, but if you're left in a 1v3, especially with the Braum passive keeping you locked up, quite hard for you to
from that one,
generate the rage and then use it in a timely enough fashion to win.
And actually, shout out to 369 as well. It's a really good ult to just cheat up that river, get there a bit faster, make that slightly better play in that sense. Of course, all the while, still IG in a decent-ish spot this game. They've got themselves the feats of strength. They're up a little bit of gold. The Rek'Sai is going to be really obnoxious, and I don't think either the Victor or the Scion are going to be able to stop the Rek'Sai continually shoving and getting at least chunks out of some of these turrets.
Yeah. Dragging up in a minute would be the second for either of these teams. Now we have the Shy with a 1.5k gold lead, 2 items, has the Unending Despair for infinite amounts of healing. It's HP scaling as well on the damage and the healing, so the Titanic Hydra giving you so much in bulk gives you a good 2-item combo there. Not many champions can really build Titanic into Undying Unending Despair, that's the one.
Yeah.
That well right now. It's just not the build path that they need. But Rek'Sai really abuses the amount of HP, which then scales into the Unending Despair really, really well.
Again, there's something I think who maybe kind of does. Maybe a set might, but then they tend to go Overlord's Bloodmail third to really get
if they're
the
going
HP
to do that,
scaling.
yeah, if they're going to build something like that, that'll be the way. The Shy takes down another round of the turret. It's a lot of gold being nucleated onto the Rek'Sai, which could be a problem. You would have liked that onto the Ziggs, realistically.
All
But
the Aurora, yeah.
we'll see if the Shy can pull it off and pay it off. Teleport coming in towards bot side, coming out from the Braum, I believe.
Okay, Scuttle Trap secured there by the side of IG. Redemption comes on down, keeps Mako healthy enough. Eclipse also allows things to be tanked up. That is the ult from Jackie Love down. The culling going to be used there for 10% of Mako's HP bar. The Shy behind the turret.
Here.
Jackie needs to be really careful here, actually, but managed to clear out the wave well enough. The Shy trying to proxy between mid lanes tier 1 and 2. Bold spot for it.
Now, this has pulled top esports away from the Dragon. How low is it? Not low enough. Okay, so not low enough. You're absolutely right. Kanavi coming in does have a bit of power now at this level 12 mark. Good damage onto Mako with those Darkened Daggers.
Okay, the Shy gets the wave shoved mid. Jackie Love coming over now, but it's going to be a bit split off from his team, actually. 369 now trying to be the body, the bulwark in the middle of the river. The Shy face-checking using that passive with the Tremor Sense to spot out top esports.
Smite fight in the pit. How much is this going to lead to? Kanavi jumps out. Can he get in time?
Hound's Pursuit available can make this one interesting. Well secured by Waste. Smites it well. Mako caught in the Chaos Storm, though. Make that the Hex Tech Storm as he tries to get himself in a bit of danger. Mako going low, not quite down. Good between worlds. Void Assault to the backside on top of 369. Glacial Fission comes across. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Mako trading out with Kanavi. Way gets across the wall. Gala and Rookie backing away. They've already lost the Shy, though. Jackie flashing forward. Vigilance passive. And a decimating smash brings down the bunny.
Oh, that was just buttery smooth kiting from Jackie Love, kiting out the Rek'Sai, and Jackie Love has a 5-kill Lucian in his hands now. The Shy tried to go in 1v2 on the bot lane, but couldn't quite make it work. What happened here? Okay, so that's what happened on the other side of the fight to force Pung's flash out. I'm getting quite worried now for Rookie's impact in the game. It's another fight where he doesn't really get the job done on the Aurora. Despite it being a champion, he's gotten a lot of value in before. The smite goes the way of Wei, but Mako is down a lot of HP. Wei doesn't have his Q up because he used it to secure that dragon as well. And the Shy flashes onto the Braum. I don't love that either. You can see that Rookie forced the flash out by 369. Doesn't really get to join his solo lane brother in that dive. And Jackie, just look at the kiting. It's so slick. The Rek'Sai unable to do that much after. Jackie Love takes down both, really, of his old world's winning solo laners.
Pretty sure the Shy was trying to flash onto Cream, who just sort of walked away from it, and the Shy just misreads it, and that's a couple times now. We've seen those big flash plays go wrong with Camille as well. Remember that attempt onto Jacula when he arcane shifted away? IG need to be tighter in these fights. They do.
They really do, because top esports, remember folks, they're coming off the back of a 5-game finals where they realistically could have been grand finals champions. They realistically could have been there. IG, they're not too far behind in terms of gold. Cream does have a teleport. You might look to take down this top turret and then teleport in. IG, they're choosing their battleground around the Atakan, trying their luck again.
They are. We'll go again. The gold's still within touching distance, 1,000 so towards top esports. Remember, Jackie blew his flash in that last play. That might make things a bit trickier for that very fed Lucian to get value.
Here comes the Victor. Low health on the Atakan. Are we smite fighting?
Pull the pack down. 369 goes jumping, gets hit on the wall. The culling comes on down. Flash away from Mako. But it means the Atakan in possession of top esports in terms of control.
The Shy!
The Shy on the backside. Jumps on the Jacula. They take the Atakan as well. Blown up the Lucian. Wonderful play from 50's gaming right now. Konami trying to heal up the backside. Goals the pack. But unfortunately, it's only to his own funeral. Stun up another. They'll try and keep down the Hung, and he dies as well. 369 is a bit of a menace as Gala trapped under this turret. Throws down his satchel, gets on the other side of the turret. The weirding comes on through. Bombs get thrown out. Rookie gets another. Cream will go mid and try and pick up a mid lane tier 1, but even then the wave dies.
It's a 6,000 damage team fight from Gala. I would imagine mostly from the Scion. The real hero is the Shy. We said, could he pay off this Rek'Sai? Last fight, no. But this time, yes. Death comes from the underground and it finds Jacula, who had been kiting so well before this point. Look at the angle he managed to find. How does he end up slipping across here? Because he's spotted in the pit, goes back into the tri-brush with us. I mean, I'm just surprised that he gets onto Jacula so easily here. Jacula surely spots him. He knows he's hit. Stands next to the wall. Jacula, you gotta be careful around that Rek'Sai. The tunnel showing up quite late visually, and both solo laners this time get onto the Lucian.
Part of it as well as just off the bottom of the screen wasn't shown by the observers. Rookie was threatening Jacula. He couldn't walk down the lane or away from the wall because Jackie was threatening with flash, with ult, with weirding. So either you were trapped between the Aurora and the Rek'Sai. Where do you go?
No, it's a great team fight from the Shy. Great team. And we were saying, look, you have a lot of resources this game. You've been given both side lane outer turrets. You have to pay that back. That team fight he does. IG get themselves that outer calm, and it's a big Petal advantage, 23-6. It gives them a slight gold lead as well. Now Top Esports, with that amount of gold onto that Rek'Sai, what can they do about that champion? You know, 3 items on Jacula, looking pretty good there. Cream does have 2 on the Victor as well, including the Horizon Focus for the stack stick that brings. Can Top Esports get themselves the front to back they need rather than making it about the Aurora, Rek'Sai opening up other angles of attack?
And the Aurora's now got 2 items, Spellslinger's Shoes, alongside the Bloodless Curse, a lot of pen, a lot of burn. That's a nice build for that Aurora now. You've got the Randuin, it's not redemption, for the side of Rek'Sai, so increasingly hard for Jackie to just run down with the threat. Flash now back up on Jacula. Kanavi doesn't have the call of the pack. Gets absolutely eviscerated. Mega Inferno Bomb. Jackie down to 20% HP as well as the Shy in danger, but gets outside of the Arcane Storm, and they blow up too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Gala just dumps out the damage as Wei pins down the jungle support into the same bit of CC. The Ziggs pops off. Gala was so good at this champion in years gone by. Baron now on the table. How much can IG do about this? The Shy is back to full HP because of course he is. He's a Rek'Sai. And can he get onto the backline? Has Flash available?
He does. 10,000 HP, tanking it well enough. Again, IG, not the fastest, but it is healthy. TP's flying.
369 trying to hold the door shut. Mako will be spotted on the flank. Trying to get onto Gala. Good satchel though.
369 gets chunked by the Shy, who does quite a lot of damage. That's a knock-up on Rookie, who goes across the bell. Trapped in the back of the pit. They lose the Aurora. Jackie gets flash on Burrowed, though. Needs to not die. Gets the Brawn passive. Sliding away with the Relentless Pursuit. But the Solar Flare catches him. The Shy finally dies. Unending Despair is not enough healing. The 369 goes down into the zombie form, but they still lose 2. Makes it the 3 for 2, I want to say, in favor of Top Esports.
Call it that for now. Kanavi does have ult. Could jump onto Gala if he wanted to.
Ow.
He might just look for it. Mako will stop his recall. Redemption coming in. Get damage onto Mako. And Top Esports managed to defuse an insanely dangerous scenario where IG had the numbers advantage and the smite advantage around the Baron. 369. Great bodyguarding of the front line. 369 on tanks. Doesn't matter at a gold if he's at a gold deficit. Will make the difference. And Rookie, I gotta say it, you have to flash this Q. When he gets knocked up here, I think the fight pretty much ends. I don't think he respects the amount of damage. Cream puts down a lot. Jackalov even taps him down as well. The Shy tries his best. Just try and get that CC onto Jackalov. But realistically, you're fighting with a member down, which you should never be in that situation. Rookie, bad mistake from him.
Picture in picture, though. Jackie burned both summoners, and we're going to live again. That could prove deadly here, because in the end, they still end up only going 2 for 3 and get a much better summoner trade to IG.
The Shy doesn't have flash this time, jumping forwards again. He's alone a little bit, but dodges the knockup.
Remember, Jackie, no flash, no cleanse himself, and that means he's in so much danger. Between World catches nearly the entire team. Jackie has to back away, but they blow up Wei. Mako surviving, Xenoblade to the other side, as Rookie blows up the Brawl. Jackie love, Void assaulted, goes down the solo lanes, win the 2v4. Kanavi in danger in the 1v2. He goes down. Rookie hops across the veil. Redemption keeps Cream up top. 369 running up the bunny rabbit, but the Shy and Gala jumping at Cream. The minefield keeps Cream trapped and dead. That'll be soul point for IG.
A messy fight works out in favor of IG as the Shy once again finds his man. Most of these fights are being determined by, can the Rek'Sai kill the carries? And in this fight, yes, it can. Dragon will go over. Shy's a jungler as well, wouldn't you know it? Takes down the Dragon with the help of Gala. We'll go through. This is a mess, folks. This is an utter mess. The Shy is playing on a knife's edge, and largely it works out well here. He's in the grab field, jumps forwards, trying to catch out Cream against the wall here. I do think 369 has a hell of a good team fight after this point. The ultimate's not great, but I thought this fight was going to turn on this Q here. Triple knockup, allowing Kanavi in. I thought that was it, but you can see the Shy gets the double knockup. Rookie is actually doing damage here as well. Jumps over the second Q, and the Shy and Rookie managed to clean up. Gala's alive as well. It is a mess. This is some of this just beautifully brutal LPL team fighting that we are all here to love and appreciate, though. Top Esports can't make it work this time. IG out team fighting.
4 for 1 and the Dragon. And again, Jackie burned both summoners to stop Baron. Every time he blows his flash in a fight, the next one is a loss right now for Top Esports.
Jaculov started this game 5-0. He's 5-3 now, and we're seeing the problems of the Lucian into this heavy point-and-click combo. If you do have the Braum in front of you, and it's just the Rek'Sai, yes, you kill them. If it's just the Aurora, you probably kill them too. If it's the Vi plus the Aurora, the Vi plus the Rek'Sai knock you up into the Gala Ziggs ult as well. That's when it becomes a problem.
Full force 1,000 suns between a Mega Inferno Bond and a Solar Flare. It's like, what, fission and fusion combined?
Wouldn't that be like the Mega Mind Inferno Bomb at that point?
Yeah.
Full unconcentrated power of the sun! No. People think that's Baldur's Gate 3? No, it's Mega Mind. Know your references.
How did you know great reference.
How did you know copper is my weakness? Shy dives into the backline. There's only room for one of us in this backline. What do you mean? One of us super carries in the backline? What's the difference between a carry and a super carry? Presentation! Setup. Digger. One of the best uses of Welcome to the Jungle I have ever heard in my whole life. Now, we have 3 dragons for IG now. Sole point. Baron's on the table. Can IG finish off this game from a lead way on the flank?
Jackie's in danger. He's backing towards them! Flash Q! Mega Inferno Bomb, and Jackie Love is dust! A handful of it. TS Elliott rotating about the wasteland as Top Esports look at the spot where their AD carry used to exist.
Dust blown into the wind. Jackie Love, he left IG. IG come to collect. Baron now the prize. Can Top Esports find a way to look for a steal or a fight?
The burn set up onto Hung and Cream, doing their best to stay safe and alive. 5v4. 369 satchel back into the team. The Shy with a double knockup. 369 trying to buy space and time, but Rookie can look to go between worlds at some point. So very soon, as he keeps throwing out some twofold Hexa weirdings, Cream gets burned out. Gala gets one. Rookie another. The call of the pack. But again, you're being impounded. The Shy with another double on Burrow, and he leaves a nice 6-foot hole to put Top Esports into.
Rek'Sai wrecks Top Esports. The Shy feeling bold, and Top Esports, I don't even think they'll be able to flip over the Baron. IG might just look at the base.
And for once, Kanavi's getting gapped. He's 1-6, and on the other side, Way is 6, 3, and 10. A monster Vi game, and IG managed to claw back one. Reverse sweep possible. Top Esports no longer undefeated.
Invictus Gaming finding their feet on the warpath. This will not be a sweep. Top Esports will have to play another one. It could have been easy. Not here, though. IG will bring us to 2-1.
Well. What a weird old game. Just came off a really interesting and powerful conversation with his former jungler in JJ once upon a time, saying, look, I wish I'd picked this in Game 4 versus BLG. I wish it wasn't picked against me. Not this time around. Potentially our final game of the series. But he's into a Lulu mid.
This is the first Lulu mid of the year anywhere in pro play, from what I can see. Not even just in tier 1. Lulu mid, I have not seen that a hot minute, was a classic of early years of League of Legends. Not here to dominate lane, can do so, but here really to buff up that Gwen later into the game.
That's a wild statistical overview there. I don't think I've seen one which is that one-sided.
Not going to lie, that might be because of the Lulu.
Yeah, might well be. Also, Misfortune's had some very poor win rates of late. But again, we're just looking around to see whether we can find out any Lulu mid stats. And this might be just our first of the year.
Yes, it is the first of the year played anywhere.
Yeah. That is kind of wild. Well, Here we are. With Rookie pulling out some very old tech. Once upon a time was that staple with Athene's and Holy Grail and Lichbane.
And with the area, you're definitely getting some shielding, but you're definitely looking towards the... Oh, hang on a sec. So we're getting the... No, people are calling this a Viper lane swap. That's not true. Team WE did it first. Gala going top lane to bully out the Gnar. Reminder, folks, Team WE pulled out this lane swap first. Yes, LCK then ended up using it too. It's probably been around the scrims. But Team WE were the first one to pull this out, trading top laner and bot laner. Gala going top lane. And Gala trying to get himself a little bit of bully down on the Gnar, who can struggle versus AD carries early.
Very much so. And of course, on the other side, the Gwen was never going to have the most fun in that matchup early on. It's just trying to be supported here to get some early resources without being targeted by someone like Kanavi, who's coming at Gala right now. We'll now know what's happening. Does have flash, maybe forced to blow it here as 369 hops up. Flash from Gala, flash from Kanavi, and doesn't find the knock-up. Gala should just get under the turret, though, so flash for flash burnt.
Hey, so Gala punished early. That is a bit rough there, because what you really want is that misfortune to really get that lane domination down. Not going to be as easy now without that summoner. 369 more available. Shy picking up some extra availability too. We are now past 3 minutes, so the early lane swap detection buff is now gone. The Gwen has survived through to the early levels of the game. Will be able to teleport to a lane of their choice, immediately teleporting top lane. And that's important. The Gwen can struggle sometimes in the early lane versus the Gnar. They wanted to keep 369's Gnar down. He's used that to great power before.
Problem is, of course, Jackie's been able to stay in lane, whereas Gala was forced back from an early gank from the Jarvan, which is probably why she's not in the 1v1 anymore, because then you have to be very afraid without the flash of 369 all-inning with the Mega Gnars coming around. And so in the end, despite Top Esports being the one to opt into the lane swap, they are still down 10 CS in both Gwen and Misfortune's lane.
Hung and Jaculov out of vision here. There's no flash on the MF. That could be a problem. Now you can magical journey them out to safety if it comes to it. Guys, got to be really careful here though. Mako coming down, only at level 2. Don't walk up too close to that brush now, my son. They could definitely cause some issues.
Oh boy, that's scary. The loyalty broken comes down. Barrier now down as well. Remember Gala, no flash as Jackie says, yeah, I know you don't. Try to get the stun on the wall. Can't find it. Now Mako in danger. Waves coming on down, but so is Kanavi. Jackie had the bailout on top of him. And Gala goes to ward and regrets it.
Huge mistake by IG. The early game read, I didn't mind the lane swap. I think that's quite impactful, but really not tracking Kanavi and then the brush down there. Big issue now for IG. Losing flash and and the life of Gala down there. Gonna lose even more CS. Top Esports, the early game engine is starting to roll again, and IG, while their comp might be cooking, I think they might not get their order up in time.
Do mid lane, Cream doing his best to get a hold of the minion wave, but again, Lulu early is a bit of a bully. Trying to find more people to chunk out here, and this was part of the reason why Lulu was a mid laner for so long. They ended up nerfing her Glitterlance into the dirt. There was a point where max rank Glitterlance had a 90% slay, was used top lane by the likes of Soaz just to run at people. It's bloody ridiculous.
There's only been one game of mid lane Lulu in the last 2 years, and it was only by Tempt in the NLC.
I remember that game.
Yeah, maybe.
Didn't win, I don't think.
No, I don't think it did. Navi, maybe looking to stop a recall here from Rookie. I do wonder whether IG have just not had the tracking to make this early game work. I think that's one place where they've really struggled with in both regular season and playoffs. IG have not been fantastic at tracking enemy jungle and making the best plays around it. That's left otherwise very creative games from almost unwinnable, really. Got the wave against them now on bot side. Jaculov off to an early lead, and Jaculov, yes, he couldn't make it work in that last game. I think this game, you have the composition to play so much more aggressively. You got Renata backing you up. You don't have the Vi jumping on you to lock you down immediately. It's a much easier game for Jackie.
Hung has to flash there because the Cosmic Binding would have left them in the wall, so that goes down. Wade has also managed to sneak into a bush here. Hang on, bit for a return of the favour. Where's Kanavi? He's coming down the river. That makes this interesting. They know this is happening. 3v3 available. Hung now in danger. The handshake away. Overcomes Kanavi, looking at the likes of Gala, who still doesn't have the flash. Flag and drag away. Ends up being much of a muchness, really.
Guy getting bullied out here. The crunch landing onto him. 369 has the level 6. Uses it effectively. Another house dropped on the Shy.
Kanavi goes over the wall, but Way is swift enough with Ixtal's impact to just drive on out of there.
And then you get the extra green flag of the Kalista. Early Dragon gets that as well. Nice for them. Early objective is very important for like good double little lands there from Rookie, building out well. The needlework used from the Shy actually did heal up a little bit. I can only imagine with some cookies and with the Orange Shield as well. Top Esports get themselves onto the board objective-wise, and now Kanavi could look for a play in mid lane. Quite hard to onto the Lulu with the extra move speed though.
He's still got Wild Growth and Flash and Polymorph, so getting the good angle there is going to be tricky. Na'Vi now being run out, gets told to be helped by Pix, and needs a double Glitter Lance. Wild Growth knocks up Cream's attempted engage as well.
Yeah, Rookie doing well at controlling this. Cream was very good on the Akali, but early, and this is the last time we saw a Lulu mid, 2021 in the LPL. We've seen, I think in 2023, we saw 5 games of it worldwide, but that includes Tier 2 as well, and all minor tournaments, not just Worlds qualifying ones. Rookie really pulling out something different, and I have to say, I don't mind it in this comp. The extra healing and shielding, particularly for the Gwen later, makes an awful lot of difference. For the MF, realistically, it's still kind of just an ult bot in this game, but I think that the Gwen having the extra healing and shielding allows you to get past the Kalista Renata threat, walk into them and take them down through the bailout if you have enough gold.
Somewhat curious what Rookie ends up deciding to build in terms of full items. He's obviously got the Catalyst early on, so that's suggesting a Roa, obviously, but I am then curious to see where the rest of the build goes. I would assume in some capacity AP's gone for the Dark Seal as well.
That's true.
Whether he goes more supportive afterwards, goes tanky, there's some different options, and again, a little bit of a fight around Grub, so we may have to pause on that one for a second. Rookie coming back, but he's not here right now. Magical Journey at the back of the pit should get them out. They do claim 1 Grub. With too many members around, they won't be able to stick around for the second.
I think it makes sense given Hung has himself that level 6. Mako doesn't support difference around Grubs. Makes a lot of difference, actually. Used to see that back with the 8-minute Heralds as well. So not wanting to deal with hostile takeover. They take 1, deny the full set, get out.
They do. Actually, credit to Cream for all we've seen them end up low in HP bars. Actually managed to pick up a fair amount of the CS at least. I think we've just gone to pick up that one topside. Gala needs to be a little bit careful there, but with the healing shrine on the barrier, it would have been hard to get the full kill.
Looking down topside, trying to wave clear out. Yeah, I do wonder what the build is going to be. I assumed it would be something a little bit more enchantery, but he could go something like Rod of Ages into Lichbane.
Yeah.
Rod of Ages into, I don't know, something more...
Seraphs, I guess, but there's no tier, so unlikely.
Yeah, and Lulu was never really a builder of that anyway, because she builds enough shields herself.
True.
You want just more raw cooldown reduction at that point. You know, you could
Cosmic
see
Drive?
Well, Horizon Focus is the stat stick
That's
for it, but
true,
Cosmic Drive
yeah.
wouldn't be awful either. I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna go look up some Lulu builds in the background. I've not really had to look at that.
Yeah, well, we're kind of musing here because we don't actually know what people are doing with Lulu mid. Keep our eyes on it, see whether there's any notes from chat as well. But as it stands, that was a question to keep our eyes on and return to as the game gets a little later. Only again, there is about 1,000 gold lead now for Jackie Love, who's continuing to get a lot of pressure here, has managed to get a lot more resources. That early kill, that early lead, the early lane swap, still not really favoured IG, and it's just leading to Jackie Love and Hung saying, yeah, we know you got a weird draft, we're still up 1,000 gold.
Could just have a check through the One Tricks game histories. I mean, the one which I see is like Luden's Protobelt.
Yeah.
So you go towards like Burst Assassin Lulu. I did see some Electrocute Lulu with the Electrocute buffs with that, because it was so broken when Electrocute got buffed into the early game, but less so now. Roaming around the map. Gold lead, well, it's fairly significant for top esports.
Yeah, a lot of it's in bot.
And that's a problem, because Kalista getting really fed is, well, one, Kalista kind of needs to be fed, but if she does, particularly when it's top esports, when they're so coordinated at going to objectives and playing peel back around your carry team fights, I mean, a big issue. Maker's still at level 5, by the way. One more chime and he'll hit level 6.
Should pick that one up there, and he gets it. I think he's down a whole level. That's quite rough. And again, I understand it's giving Gala some solo lane XP, and that's kind of nice in the sense that obviously was behind a fairly significant amount. You managed to keep the Shy out of a tricky early lane versus the Nara, and that's good news in some ways, but you've already gotten the first dragon on the board, second spawning in 45 seconds. Top esports will be going for this on spawn, I have no doubt.
They have to. It's the Kalista. You have to go for this stuff on spawn or as early as possible. Rookie building his way towards that Rod of Ages. IG really just need to recoup some of this early game gold that they've lost. They would really like to make sure this Gwen is in a point of power. Make sure that Rookie can buff them up to be a hyper carry later on. However, while all this is happening, Dragon is still spawning soon. It's not like 369 has to back off in top lane. He's doing quite well in his own side up here.
He manages to get another plate there. The gold's about even in the solo lanes, it has to be said. It is this bot lane where the 1500 gold lead is nearly in its entirety. 1100 over to the Kalista, a little bit over to the Renata, who's picked up an assist and some plate by association. Nice rocket belt combo.
I guess if the electrocute flips back out of range, by not following the E, you do drop some damage, but it means you're not stuck in melee afterwards, which is not
As a rabbit.
You want to be. Yeah. Not exactly where you want to be. You need to binky and get out of there. You know what a binky is?
It's just a dummy thing, isn't it?
No.
You used to call it their binky.
No, a binky is a it's a thing which a rabbit does when it flips 180. There's a dragon myth, but this is way more important, by the way.
That's significantly more. It's stolen by Gala. We're talking about weird rabbits doing 180s. How about this one? Trick shot from Gala. Cataclysm comes on down. The bullet time was interrupted, but the rest of top esports in a horrible position health bar wise. Bailout's about to run on down. Should get a decent chunk there onto Rookie, who goes down as too much CC comes across. Public helps with perfect execution every time these days with the Kali, but won't get a hold of Mako. Fumble the ult in favor of Ambessa.
But I mean, the dragon steal is huge for IG. No second early dragon, even against the Rend. How did that end up going against top esports? I have no idea. I think actually top esports are a little lucky that the fight went their way as much as it did too. What was that? Was that a
one for none?
One for none. Yeah, IG yet to pick up a kill. I really think, given the extra damage denied by Rookie on the wild growth, whether that could have been actually worse. Rookie didn't quite stop the flag drag flying at him. How did this happen? Oh, that is 38 HP. That is close.
Man.
I mean, the Rend and the Smite did come through. Just came through to the MF instead. Flag drag stopped the bullet time. Great positioning by Gala there.
Stole the dragon, so I suppose he can be forgiven the positioning, I suppose.
Could have been much worse. And then Rookie ends up making a bit of a mistake there. I think he could stop the flag and drag and potentially live that if it did work out a little bit later. Still, top esports missed their opportunity for 2 early dragons, and we'll see if IG can now use that extra time they've been allotted, not worrying about a potential soul, to get themselves into the game.
Yeah. His lane gets the plate for Jackie who's 2-0. Did burn summoners in that last plate, but survived it. Now got the Blade of the Ruin King in as well, and the early lead is very much there for top esports, but the win condition of the early soul is not. You take what you can get here as IG, who are playing around getting this Gwen online in particular, and they're just not quite there yet.
Gala gets himself that Bloodthirst. It is 1.5k down, which is rough. Rookie has the Rod of Ages in now. So again, we'll wonder what that second item is. We presume could be a Lich Bane. Could end up being something like a lot of cooldown reduction instead, just one of those stat stick cooldown reduction items. See really if he wants to provide more damage, or actually whether more AP gives the shielding and the healing they need.
This is the 3rd game in a row where Gala is down early on over 20 CS. 3rd game in a row. Whatever the matchup, whatever's being drafted, Gala is losing out hard in lane. Yes, I know some of these matchups are kind of rough, but being down on the Xayah, on the Sivir, and now on the Misfortune, this amount into Jackie. Yes, top esports bot lane, deadly, dangerous, but you expect better from Gala, and that's rough to see.
Just want everyone to know, a rabbit binky is a spontaneous, joyous jump and twist performed by a rabbit when it's feeling extremely happy, excited, or content. They jump and do a little 180.
That's cool. That is cool. Thank you for letting me know about that. That's a great fun fact.
Yep, so now you know. A binky is when a rabbit kind of jumps and does a twist. Cream going into the spot side. Yeah, the side lane matchup is really rough for the Gwen. The Akali takes over really just any time they have items and levels. Early levels, the Gwen can fight, but as soon as that Akali gets the ult, it's very hard to play.
A little bit different, of course, once the Gwen starts getting her own items and stuff, can start to maybe trade back, but just the mobility of the Akali and the ability to threaten inside the Hallowed Mist has always made that a fairly decent matchup into the Gwen.
Okay, now, top esports today. Want to look around this Herald, potentially so. Rookie has the cooldown boots. Again, very standard coming in for the Lulu. Not bad damage there. Magical Journey.
You said that as if there is a standard for Lulu anymore.
I mean, in fairness, if you're building Lulu, you do need those cooldown boots.
Yeah.
Herald gonna get spears chucked into them. IG probably not wanting to fight against this terrain. It's pretty hard to play around. They'll let that one go. And top esports will take the Herald for free, getting the objective marker for feats of strength.
Nicely done. Now it's first turret or the next kill for top esports that they're hunting for. IG would need both in some capacity, and at the moment that's feeling fairly unlikely, it has to be said.
Dragon in a minute. Do IG choose to let that one go? I would look, if I'm in IG's position, unless I get a really good angle, I don't fight for the next dragon.
No.
Top esports, you just take it on the chin. You still have a good gold lead.
Play for turret.
Play for the turrets. Sorry, IG played the turrets. Sorry.
Instead of the dragon, yeah. Sorry, I got
because I moved on to top esports,
Yes.
and you said play for turret. I'm
Yes.
like,
That didn't quite register until I'd said the statement. I went, wait, no, they've moved on. Apologies.
Yeah, top esports likely just need to just keep up the tempo around objectives. It's not like you have a real other option. And you just try and pick up whatever mistakes IG make in their entrance to an objective. You do have the Jarvan with great follow-up from the Akali and the Kalista ult as well. Very long engage range. If IG don't safely approach an objective, you've got a green flag. Now, Mako can be disengaged, as can Rookie. There are some ways that IG can outplay and engage. With top esports gold advantage, not easy to make sure everyone makes it out safely.
At some point, Way's got to do something as well. He's locked in the Skarner and not really done anything. Not found objectives, not found farm lead, not found gank. We've yet to see an impale. Like, that's kind of rough. And again, Kanavi has, on the whole, been a fairly significantly better jungler.
Now the Herald's going into mid lane, courtesy of Kanavi securing that earlier. Wasn't with a fight. Bard's going to ult the tower, and the Herald will go to waste. So Herald was taken, basically wasted. Dragon started by top esports, but because IG stole one earlier, this isn't going to be sole point. They might still poke their heads in, but I don't think they should fight.
Worth noting, by the way, Nar got turret top side, so they've already got first turret and future strength.
Well, they are teleporting. I actually want this fight. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh boy, can't quite steal it. There wasn't enough spears in for a scary Ren, but the Cataclysm still double down and Way. Gets wild growth, but will still die. IG, I don't know, guys. It's getting pretty rough as the Shy gets caught by a crunch. The bullet time is solid, but the hostile takeover interrupted, as Hung says, lined up. Eat this one. Good turnaround from Gala, but again, the damage to finish any of these low health bars up, it's gone.
It's a free 2 kills and the Dragon. IG, you should not have fought that. You didn't have the positioning top esports were set up. It's a great turn by top esports. I love the positioning that Hung had in the brush, and Kanavi's jump over the wall as well onto Way. I mean, they had the spears stuck up on that Dragon. Way realistically was looking for like a 20% steal chance, if that. Very hard to steal against.
He Ren's early.
And you know what? Having the Bard ult defend the mid lane turret actually makes a lot of sense in this fight now, because then top esports say, well, we don't have to worry about the Bard ult around the Dragon. You've used it defending against the Herald. So while the Herald was quote wasted, hold up was down. Great counter ult by Hung to stop the bullet time doing really much of anything. IG walk away, losing the Dragon and 2 kills. Top esports, good, slow, objective, methodical play.
Yeah, absolutely that. And that's even with the Ren coming in early again. You know, Way was in position to steal that one, but went the way of top esports. They get the fight after. It's looking pretty scary right now as my voice squeaks like IG right now. It's squeaky bum time, Al.
Doesn't that mean it's really close?
Yeah, it's squeaky bum time, because if they lose this, they're going down again.
It's squeaky bum. That's when it comes down to like really tight moments. See, that was there. Yeah, right then. Wait, very close.
You know what? I hear your point. I still think there'll be some clenching again. They don't want to lose it.
Probably, yeah, a little bit. IG, look, they've tried to cook up something special, but I wonder whether things are going awry. Cream uses the ults.
Gets stunned into the wall. Redemption will keep Mako healthy, but Queen will be forced to burn the ult at least, but then so is the Shy.
I think giving some control over to the Shy in the side lane is important. One of the problems we had with this draft from IG is the Gwen doesn't have good side lane matchups. If IG choose not to fight objectives, it's not like the Shy is brutalizing a tank on the other side of the map. Gwen in side lanes can sometimes struggle quite a lot in the current meta. She's lost a lot of stats over time. Her changes to various things meant that her actual individual agency becomes a lot more about team fights later rather than individual dueling nowadays. Afghan has spawned. IG, I don't think you can give an Atakan. I think that's really dangerous to do, especially with the amount of gold value it gives. They're going to go onto it again. IG, they might have to stick around. They just used the ult on the Shy.
Queen's down his as well, worth noting, so it depends which one's going to be more valuable. Way can theoretically drive in, but with the Ren stacking, Tempered Fate buys time. Bullet time going to start chunking. Jackie loved out. He gets bailed out, but I think he's going to die. They take the Atakan at least, but they lose the Callista. What about the rest of the play? Is there a rest of the play as Way goes driving forward? Can't quite find it. 369 building up towards the Mega now. Cream on a potential flank angle, but they just disengage. Atakan for Jackie. That's not a bad trade, really, for top esports.
Yeah, I think taking one death is not the worst you could have. Do they look for a fight afterwards? Yes, they might.
369 being slowed down by Rookie. Way gets taken low, but not down. Gets magical journey towards the enemy turret. 369 looking for a Mega now as the Shy gets blasted by Cream. The exhaust is too late. Kanavi gets the bailout, still goes down. Gala flashing away. Cream also also forced to flashback, and now Top Esports are in danger. Cycling through the 5-point strikes, Cream gets hit by the Heartsteel, lands the potential Shuriken flip, but needs to keep driving away as the Ixtal's impact comes on forward, driven into a wall, loses vision, but still gets the kill, and suddenly IG find 4.
Yeah, that's 4 for 1 now total. The Shy died in the play. Rookie wasn't quite in position to save the start of the fight, but they do get themselves a turret afterwards, and IG, real credit to them, they end up finding something on the exit to a play, which I thought was going against them. Top Esports, they went way too far looking for the play afterwards. This is a nasty combo. They ult the Atakan to make sure that they can set up the bullet time over the top of it. Hung tries to counter ult, but the Shy has a W. The ultimate from the Renata doesn't end up impacting the Gwen that much. And the Shy gets to stick around for an extra bit of damage. The kill does eventually go towards Gala, not the Shy, interestingly. I guess it was the last tick of the Eagle. Would have been the red flag. And then here, this is a big mistake from Top Esports, thinking, okay, we can definitely fight this. Missed flag and drag. The dunk doesn't quite catch out Mako. I think they think we can do this as long as Lulu's out of range for the extra enchanting power. They were not quite correct on that point. Mega Nart looks okay. Then the Wild Growth comes through. The damage they've done is not enough.
Being forced to flash, and that's actually now a lot of summoners down as well for the side of, well, actually both sides for that matter. Gala burning all of his, but just make these next fights a bit more interesting. And for IG, yes, you lose the Atakan, but at least you got some gold where you could. No bad thing at all. Back to live we go, though, as the hostile taker comes on forward. Way is forced to flash, but Jackie Love with the bailout on. It's actually down about half HP. Kanavi in danger as the needles came flying across. The Fate's Call knocks the Shy up, but he can't quite snip people down. Cream goes in. Mako gets another with the assist. Or Mako goes down as Jackie Love gets another. Now back towards Dragon and Soul Point for Top Esports.
This time, Top Esports thread the needle, and the holder of it goes down. The Shy 0 and 3, struggling to get the real damage in the backline. That will be a third dragon for them. And I do just wonder whether IG should be letting more of these objective fights go because they don't have the right angle. Right here, this is, you know, multiple people walking up. Way doesn't have the most tankiness available. It's not a bad bullet time and impale, honestly. I think Wade does an okay job. The Shy,
this is all his needles.
This is a lot of his needles, and I think really 369's positioning is what wins this for Top Esports because he threatens the follow-up of Rookie, who Rookie needs to be quite close to make sure that his enchanting works out well, or the polymorph. Way caught out on the side now. No flash this time.
Shy is coming. I don't know whether they can finish off the kill here, and they won't be able to.
Yeah, Cream didn't have the ultimate. I was looking at, oh, Kali's jumping on someone, and I thought, oh, he'll definitely have ultimate. No, didn't quite have it. Is safe on the side lane. Top Esports, 3 dragons, 5,000 gold lead. Have that after Khan, a bit of a petal lead from it. And Baron is spawning in the next few seconds, not quite. Next minute. Better way to phrase it, isn't it? Hang on a second, that is a person on vision. You saw that, my friend.
It's just a bait, though, I guess. They thought Kanavi wouldn't want to interrupt it, and Mako's happy enough to trade a little bit of his HP bar there.
Interesting stuff here, by the way. Rookie's gone for the Staff of Flowing Warmth a second. Have we talked about that yet?
No, we have not.
Now, okay, so, yes, the Shy is down 2,000 gold-ish. You do also now get extra AP and movement speed when the Staff of Flowing Water affects you. If Rookie is in range of the Shy as he goes for his plays, that Gwen is going to be a lot more powerful than she looks because Rookie has picked an item which is actually very, very good for buffing up AP carries. Not many enchanter items do that, but this one's pretty damn good at it.
You can with that. I wonder whether something like, I was going to say Ardent Sense, but the Misfortune, not the best abuser of it, but the Gwen probably is. Actually, doesn't mind a bit of extra attack speed.
Your next item is going to be an interesting one, because then you make the choice of, do you go towards more just generic stuff, or do you choose to go towards something like that to buff up the Gwen more specifically?
Lots of options available. See what the decision is. Either way, significant lead to Top Esports, but again, is it going to be enough? A lot of that lead now is in the solo lanes. Actually, the Gnar a long way ahead, 50 CS up. The Lulu also done, but Lulu, again, much lower economy than the Akali, so that does kind of mitigate things. And at this point, the Kalista, we've seen a few fights now where she's been really threatened by the bullet times in particular. Very much made Jackie Love's life very tricky.
Yeah. And I think basically if the Bard ult hits or misses, you're still following up with the bullet time, either setting up for people to come out of the golden stasis, or if they dodge out of it, they've been corralled into a better angle for the ult to the MF. Of course, on the side of Top, look, we've been talking on the side of IG because they're playing new stuff and it's fun, right?
Yeah.
However, Top Esports on the other side of it.
Tried and true.
It's tried and true. 369 on the side lane, pressure champion of the Gnar, doing a really good job. 102, 2 items with the upgraded feats of strength moat treads as well, which are really nice. The chain-laced crushers.
Yeah.
Means that it's much harder to shut them down. And Top Esports, real credit to them, they have been much better, as we've known them to be in the LPL, at objective play. Starting off fights well with a good foundation of vision, forcing IG to play from a losing platform. Now, in the we actually were talking about this the other day. In China, when they talk about League of Legends or just esports in general, there is basically an idiom which I believe translates to "it's not good, but we'll try and outplay." That definitely comes through in a lot of play in League of Legends in China sometimes, where actually, you haven't got the right setup, you'll go for it anyway. Top Esports, though, on the other side of that coin, getting the right setup and making sure that the situation looks as good as possible for them before the play starts.
There is something about knowing that you're going into a negative scenario and still saying, look, we'll just try and outplay it. That is a particular mindset thing, which has served teams like Invictus Gaming very well. The difficulty then is you're going to a team like Top Esports who've got the hands to slap back pretty well.
I mean, we've got some of that in the West, right? Keep calm and carry on. Sometimes you just can't begrudge a situation. You have to make do with what you've got.
Yeah.
Make the best of it. Make do with what you've got. Minute till Dragon now. Top Esports threatening the Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul's not great for IG to face against. The Gwen getting outpaced would be a bit annoying.
Carly with it is just a
Carly
nightmare.
is pretty uncatchable after that point. I suppose it's not as bad as something like Phantom Soul, Infernal, Hextech, of course, top of the tree, really. IG, they fought for almost everything in this game, instead of passing some bits over. Will that be the death of them in this series? Baron Star, Jaculov at 3 items, will shred through it.
Wary though, because Gala's just picked up Infinity Edge. He's on 3 items as well, and this Misfortune, the second richest person in the game, just behind Jaculov. And if the bullet time lands at this point the way it has been the rest of the game, people will suffer.
Wait, heading into the Fog of War again. Top Esports, so good at vision control. They are our best vision control team within the LPL. This is what carried them to a finals and damn near the title as well. 369 popping the W out of the shy. What do you say? He might have gone a bit far here, actually.
He might have done. Going to get a hop away and buys good time. It also means all the while Dragon's going down. Tempered Fate buys time. Magical Journey now towards the pit. Look at Cream on the flank as well. 3,000 HP on the Dragon. Should just be secured, and IG know it. Flash from Hung. Drostyle takeover. It's phenomenal! Meganar into the wall, and Wei gets an impale. That means absolutely nothing. A knock-up, an exhaust. Gala has no time at all. Never mind any bullets as Rookie's trapped under the turret. But that little squid is Calamari.
IG are hanged, drawn, and quartered by the support of Top Esports. The hostile takeover leaves nothing left for the Invictus Gaming shareholders. Top Esports crushed through the fight, and IG, you should have just left well alone. Dragon Soul, Baron, turrets galore, Top Esports crushed through the House of Cards.
Oh, the clouds part, and it is just gleaming up there in favor of Top Esports, ascending towards a potential 3rd seed for the LPL. They just need to close this one out, and with an over 10,000 gold lead, surely it is paved already for them to travel.
369 buying the attention of Wei means that he can't get in position for the smite. Cream holding the flank angle means that IG can't bull rush into the objective either, but they still go too far even when they tentatively approach. Awesome ultimate. Catches everyone but the Shy and Rookie. Gala is CC'd in place, can't get a bullet time down. He dies without casting it. The Misfortune has not been given value in this game. I think this game looks a lot different if the early game hadn't gone as far to the Callisto as it should have done. Gala walking up to that brush early on, giving over that kill, throwing the lane swap situation, after losing that flash early as well, really put the early game in disarray, and IG have not really been able to play the style they wanted with that platform disintegrating beneath their feet in the early game.
Deathcap and stacks for the side of Cream. You've got 4 items for Jaculov. You've got what amounts to a 12,000 gold lead for Top Esports as a whole. Nearly 4,000 lead mid lane right now. Rookie has struggled here in this one. Jump onto Kanavi, who drags into a hostile takeover. They are just TikTok reeling at this point. It's not a setup. It's not try again. They're just doing it live. And unfortunately for IG, their heart rate monitors have flatlined. They're not alive anymore. This series is done. Top Esports, welcome to Worlds.
Kanavi carries the flag of Top Esports to the international stage. Invictus Gaming will have to